Hello you absolute legends, welcome back to the channel. It's John here on a windy but okay day here in Lincolnshire. Taking a look then today at this, just purchased. It is a Mk1 Audi TT Coupe, 225 brake horsepower with the BAM engine, if that means anything to yourself, covering quite a few miles actually, to be honest with you. 139,450 miles, so nearly 140,000, and it's one that popped up on the old Facebook marketplace yesterday. I saw the colour. If you haven't watched the channel already, I already have one of these in this colour, but the Roadster edition, and it was very local to me. I thought, well, I'm going to have to go and have a look at that, aren't I? So I did. I went and had a look at it and fixed a deal with the seller. It's not perfect, but it is a good starting point for a relatively usable, everyday, modern classic. I actually bought it for Mrs. John Coupland. It's for her to drive and enjoy. If you remember, a couple of months ago I bought her a silver convertible, and well, she liked it but didn't like it too much, in that she's not really a keen fan of the colour, so she hasn't actually driven it. So hopefully this one is something that she will enjoy some more. And you can see as we walk around the car, it's been modified. It's had a few bits and pieces done to it, such as this, which looked terrible, but it's not been bastardised too much that I can't put it back to standard. Things that are a big key for me is original interior, original paint, original wheels, original ride height, etc, etc. Things like decals, these decals on these sills, not a major issue to me. These horrible rear light tints are going to go in. We'll have a look at them in just a minute as we walk around the car, but overall very good condition. It's the 225 brake horsepower. Then that means you get xenon lights at the front and alien washers. That's what they're called, aliens. No mud flaps on here, but actually the wheel arches and sills looking good. It has been painted in its life. It has had work done to it. This wing has been painted and the sills have been painted, and this back panel has been painted as well, but no major issues, no major dints, knocks or anything like that. There's a dint here on the bottom of this door, you can see. It's where someone's opened it on a curbstone or something, isn't it? That's something that I'm going to have to address. And there's a scuff here on the sill here. Sure, that's where somebody has marked it getting in and out, and they've just tidied it up. You'd never notice it if you didn't know it was there. Apart from that, looking good. Rear window has been tinted. At the moment, I'm okay with it. I'm going to leave it as it is. The number plate has been changed. We've got this horrible sort of 4D gel number plate. That's horrible. It's going. Getting rid of that. I think it's vile. No honeycomb valance at the back because it's not a 3.2. The main thing is these horrible tinted lights. It's just a film, so in theory I should be able to heat that film up and just sort of peel them off. It's one of the first jobs I'm going to be doing. You can see it's just sort of peeling off there, so fingers crossed it's not stuck too bad. Yeah, and then get rid of these horrible things. This Quattro decal that someone's put on there, horrible, vile. Same with this one here. I don't think it suits the car. Mechanically, it's okay. The brake pedal travels a lot further than I want it to. There's an issue with that. I think the brakes need bleeding. And the coolant bottle's looking a bit murky. We'll have a look at that in just a moment's time. But overall, outside looking good. And the main thing for me is the electronics is looking good. No issues. The air conditioning seems to work fine. The radio all seems to work okay, as it should. Heated seats, ESP, etc, etc. And you can see 139,426 miles. Being the Coupe edition and not the Roadster, you actually get 4 seats. 2 in the back there and 2 here. Don't know whether or not I'd ever actually get another person, a human adult in the back there, especially with me driving. You can see my driver's position. Well, you don't get any leg room. Things I've noticed here, this is broken. This flap here, you can just see it covers the first aid kit. That's broken. Then there's a CD changer the other side that's broken. Again, just cosmetic, it's a piece of plastic, I can get that replaced and repaired. One thing I have noticed, and this is a bit naughty of the seller, is that they have removed the parcel shelf. So I bought it yesterday, I left it with the seller, and there should be an Audi parcel shelf here that flops down and covers this gap when it's not in use, and he's removed that, which is a little bit naughty. I've rang him up, I've called him out about it, because I had the foresight to take photographs of the car before when I left it, and it was there. I know it was there. I've called him out, he's admitted to removing it, so I'm going to go back and get it, but in my opinion that's quite ungentlemanly. And under here we've got a space saver wheel and the toolkit and some cable ties for some reason. Let's have a look what's in here. Take this out because I need to put the locking wheel nut tool away. Trim removal tool, all that sort of stuff, jack, etc, etc. That to me is the original space saver wheel and tie. It's nice to see that we've got the full toolkit as well, in good nick and good condition. In fact, while we're here, let's put that locking wheel nut tool in there. Never seen inside of one of these. They're quite swanky. There's the tool. I don't know what that is in there. Some O-rings of some description. There's the locking wheel nut tool, and it sits just in there. Well, that's where it's going to sit. Might not necessarily sit in there always. Or is it that way around? There it is. That's where it sits. And then you can put this cover back on. Here it slots in place, and then this screws back in there. So yeah, as I say, a bit unsportsmanlike from the seller for that. I left the car with him in good faith with the keys to be able to move the car. Normally what I would do is take the V5, take the keys, so at least if the seller disappeared I could pick the car up. And yeah, he's done me a bit dirty, so bad sportsmanship, not too happy, especially because I'm going to have to drive another sort of hour and a bit to go pick it up. Back seats fold down. They need a little bit of TLC actually. They don't fold down and lock in place perfectly, but I'm not going to be really using the rear seats. It's just for this. And this is the original number plates, the Y742 SVS. So I've actually got them with the car in case I need them. Let's take a look under the engine bay then. We've got the original driver's mat, by the way, not the original passenger's mat. Again, that's gone missing. I can't prove that it's gone missing overnight, sadly, because I didn't photograph the passenger's footwell. He might have gone missing overnight. I'm not too bothered. Under the engine bay then, it's quite warm, and I have no idea why that's there. It looks tosh. I'll be taking that off this afternoon. Overall, mechanically good. It's had sort of some Forge motorsport valve stuff fitted here, and a dump valve as well, which is quite nice. Gives you a nice whoosh of air when you put your foot down on the turbo. But yeah, the coolant is looking a little bit gold and murky. Whether it's not had some sort of engine seal in the past or something similar. I haven't seen any coolant heating engine problems, so it could be that's been addressed in the past, but I think one of my jobs is to take the coolant bottle out, flush it and flush all the coolant system. Apart from a general tidy up, cleaning of all the lights and, you know, back to blacking all the grills and bits and pieces, not a bad looking thing. And we'll be documenting what we do throughout the life of the car on the channel. Right, let's shut that. Okay. Aside from that, looking in the passenger's rear this side, I've noticed that this seat belt doesn't retract properly, which I've got absolutely no idea why. I think it just needs to be at the right sort of angle of dangle, but that's something obviously we need to address, else you're going to be shutting your seat belt in the door. And actually Mrs. John Coupland brought that to my attention just a moment ago. Mercedes-Benz, in fact, do you know what, let's take that off now. That's terrible, isn't it? Let's just rip that off. If I can do it one-handed. I can't do it one-handed. Yeah, there's only one place for that, and that's over there. Get rid of that. Terrible. That's probably not helped by that situation either. These seatbelts seem to be sort of facing the wrong way a little bit and have got a twist in them, but we'll have a look at that at a later date. Apart from that, CD changer in the back here. This flap, as I say. The clip's broken. That's not a major issue. I can either ping that down or get some new clips in there. And actually I've noticed that the rear speakers don't work, which they should do, shouldn't they? These are the rear speakers behind here, so we'll have to have a look at that as well. All in all, not bad. What did I pay for it? Well, just shy of £2,000 is the honest answer. Have I paid a little bit too much? No, I don't think so. It's really rare in this Merlin purple. The wheels are in good nick, and overall a well looked after car. Some people would have probably told me to steer clear of it, having the tints and the wraps and all this sort of nonsense. It hasn't put me off. Am I going to take the tints off? Well, maybe. I'll probably have a peel of the tints at some point, but I'm not overly bothered by the rear window tints. These though are the next to go. Let me know, what do you think? What would you do? Would you leave them horrible rear tints on, or would you have them straight off like me? If you've enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up if you wouldn't mind, and a like and a subscribe if you haven't already done so. Next time you see it, hopefully you'll be looking a little bit more shinier, a little bit nicer, a little bit better, a little bit tidier in certain places, and we'll have got rid of some of this nonsense. Have a great day, whatever you're getting up to. Take care, and goodbye. Hello, you absolute legends. Welcome back to the channel. Looks like it's gonna try and rain at some point today, but here's an update on the Audi TT that I purchased earlier today, and I just wanted to go through a list of things I've done in sort of 10 minutes to immediately make the car better. I say 10 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. As you can see in my first video, I pointed out some horrible tints on the rear lights and some horrible graphics on here and down the sides. Effectively, they've now been removed. Tractor, tractor, joys of living in Lincolnshire. And you can see the difference that has made to the car already is absolutely night and day. They were just, thankfully, sort of stick-on tints, and they were terrible, and I heated them up with Mrs. John Coupland's hairdryer and peel them off in one go. I'm going to show you some peeling ASMR or whatever it's called right now. And you can see just how well and how beautiful they peeled off. There is clearly a reason that there was one on this rear light, in that the lens is cracked, but don't worry, because I actually have, it's gone, but I have a spare lens with the car actually that the seller gave me. So he stole my parcel shelf, but gave me a free light, tit for tat I suppose. But I'm going to go pick that parcel shelf up. I'm not bitter about it at all. I have also removed these horrible side skirt Audi decals that were here, and you can see that they've cleaned up nicely. One thing I would say about things like that is over a long period of time, if that's been on a long time, it would mark the paint. I don't think it has been on long. There's no marking to the paint whatsoever. You can't see any sort of ghosting where they were, and I've just T-cut that sill and it's come up lovely. There's a few more things I need to address, which I did put the hairdryer away because that sky looked horrible, is under the bonnet. So the next thing to tackle is under the bonnet, and I've also used some of this. This is Meguiar's Plastics RX or Plast-RX, just to give these headlights a little bit of a clean. And you can see that the condition of them has come up a lot better. So yeah, things I've done in 20 minutes, in my opinion, have instantly improved the look of the car. Let me know. Plenty more things to do, including a good deep clean, a clay bar, and then a polish with a machine polish to bring that sort of deep purple paint out. But we're doing all right, we're doing okay. If you've enjoyed this little update video, let me know in the comments below. If you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, give me a thumbs up. Thank you. Have a great day, whatever you're getting up to. Next thing will be get some new number plates because these look terrible, and a general tidy up. Still deciding about these tints, this rear window tint and these side window tints. Who knows? What should I do? Keep them or get rid of them? Take care and goodbye. Hello legends, welcome back to the channel. We've got some ambience this morning. Yes, we're quite close to my water fountain. We are working on some TTs. Not this TT, this one is for sale at the moment, because we've bought this one. If you haven't seen the video on the channel, it's on there now, and have a look. We're doing some work to the car. Yeah, catch up with that. Basically, long story short, bought that car for my wife as a toy. She didn't like it because she didn't like the colour, so bought this car for my wife. Doesn't like it as much because it's not a Roadster, but she's going to have to compromise. Looks like it's going to absolutely chuck it down today here in Lincolnshire, and in this video what I'm going to do is try an attempt. I've never done this before in my life, is take these horrible window tints off the car. For starters, I'm going to do these side windows. You can see that it's like limo tinted black. I just don't like them. I don't like the way that it breaks up the car look, and it's a bit chavvy, if I do say so myself. I asked about on Twitter how to take them off, and lots of people are saying lots of different things: steam, heat, water, alcohol. I don't know if they mean get sloshed and then try and take them off, or if they mean something such as isopropyl alcohol. I'm going to try Mrs. John Coupland's hairdryer first and foremost. A little bit of heat, and I've actually managed to start picking at this corner. You can see there's a little bit of white gap there, so I'm going to try and heat it up and peel it off. That's the first way I'm going to try doing it. We'll see how we get going. So it's not very glamorous, one-handed and with my left hand, but I've got the hairdryer going on there with a view of trying to sort of soften up that glue, that adhesive. I'm expecting there to be loads of adhesive left on the window, but this should hopefully help remove it. I'm getting somewhere. I'm getting somewhere faster than I expected. Well, I won't lie, it made that look easy. Also, if you're 6'4" and 20 odd stone, you don't fit in the back of an Audi TT. Heat, peel the corner, peeled straight off. No residue. I'm surprised. That looks so much better already. We shall see what Mrs. John Coupland thinks. That's one down, another side to go. Well, we know that the technique works, but I've just said to Mrs. John Coupland that looked too easy. That came off too easy, that first one, so I'm expecting there to be some sort of resistance with this one. We shall see. Obviously, I'm not using a heat gun, I'm using a hairdryer because I don't want to get a heat gun inside here and with the risk of cracking a window or damaging something, because they are blooming powerful things. Right, well, I seem to have got hold of a corner, I think. Well, it's not so much of a corner this time. I told you it wasn't going to be easy. Might need my tweezers for this one. Right, I've got a corner. Let's see how she goes. Yeah, so it's leaving a little bit of residue here. I'm going to heat it up some more. Heat it up, heat it up, heat it up, heat it up. The last thing I want to do is have to melt all the glue off or scrape all the glue off. That's another one off. Ah, the window tinting inspector is here. Hello, do you want this? Silly sausage, I was going to stick it on you. Yeah, you can have it as a hat. You can be a wizard. You're a wizard, Crystal. Da 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 da. No, not a fan. Hello. Yeah, so that's another side window off. I think I'm going to tackle the back now. Faint heart and never won fair maiden and all that jazz. In fact, while I'm just here, let's shut this door now and look at the sight. Oh, that looks so much better. So much better already without them horrible tints. And if you look at the back, we've got this horrible black limo tinted rear screen. This is being replaced today as well. I'm going to do it. Right, let's tackle this back window and have a look. Ah, there's a parcel shelf. I need to remove that. Remember the guy who sold me the car? Nabbed the parcel shelf. So pull these off. And then in theory, it should just unclip out of there. In theory. There we go, brute force. Right, so put that safe because I don't want to lose that. Let's take a look at this. Is it done behind the high level stoplight? It is done behind the high level stoplight. What's the best way to attack this? I think the best way to attack this is to find a bit behind it, get behind it, and peel. Well, I've managed to get behind it. I've not needed any heat so far. I am being careful and dubious. I'm going to just pull it off. Well, it's off. It's off. It came off in one great big foul swoop. There's a little bit left just behind that high level stoplight. Let's pop the bonnet, the boot, have a look, but in my opinion that looks so much better. So much better already. I'm going to give that a blooming good clean. There it is, it came off in one piece. I did film it, but the filming stopped for some reason. There it is. There's the window tint. There it was. There it was gone. In fact, get rid of it. Get out of here, you. Didn't need heat for the rear screen. I wonder how much someone paid to have that done. 100 quid? Got it off in less than 4 or 5 minutes. In my opinion, much better. I'm going to get my glass spray now and clean all behind here, all there. Put the parcel shelf back in and have a look at the car. Right, so I'm going to clean the windows off now. I've done that side one. Actually, the residue comes off. If you haven't already used it, this is Glass Zap. Used to be able to get it from B&M. It was like £1. It is the best window cleaner in the world. You can't get it anymore, so it's going to have to be going online. I don't know where it comes from. Zanto, that well-known brand. Supplied, UK, so maybe we'll be able to get some. Let it on and give it a scrub. Remarkably, the Glass Zap hasn't actually got rid of the residue, so I'm going to go get something a little bit stronger, which I know will get rid of the residue. Don't try this at home, kids. This'll do it. Right, I'm going to use some petrol, only a little bit. I'm going to dab it on my rag and then put it on the glass. I wouldn't recommend doing it all over or on paintwork or anything else, but that's going to get it off. And as you can see, the petrol is doing its job. It's melting that off there. There's loads of things you could use. Sticky stuff remover, UPVC cleaner, WD-40 even. That's what I had to hand. Well, it's all been glass zapped. You can see that it's looking much better, nice and clear, and you can see through the rear window. I'm going to put everything away. Valuable commodity that. I need to get on the internet and buy some more of that. It's pretty much empty. Put the parcel shelf back in, shut the tailgate and see what it looks like. Parcel shelf's back in. Moment of truth. That looks better. And you can see how the parcel shelf covers that gap when it's down. I still need to just get in here behind this high level stoplight. I've not been able to do that today. There's a gap now between the seats and the parcel shelf. I'm just going to use brute force and ignorance. Yeah, it's done the job, hasn't it? Right, let's shut these doors, have a look at the car, put it back to normal. Need to sort these seat belts out as well. These seat belts are twisted and they're causing a problem. Let's feed that back in there slowly. Ah, that's why it's not at the right angle of dangle. That's a Lincolnshire saying, I think. It's still not going in there. I'm going to have to take this back off and have a look. I think that's probably why it's partly broken at the back there, because somebody has had that out and not been able to solve that problem. Right, put these seats back. That one's back in its rightful place. Shut this door. Already, in my opinion, that looks so much better without them horrible black tints. That number plate's next. Put this one back. And shut this window. Make sure I've got the keys. Make sure the keys aren't in the boot. No, I've got the keys. Make sure I don't hit that with my door. Oh, tight. There we are. Oh, it looks so much better. In my opinion, anyway. There she is. All the tints and horribleness is nearly gone. I've just got that number plate to do, which you can see in the boot is my number plate tape. If you've enjoyed the video, let me know in the comments below. Would you have kept the tints, or do you think it looks so much nicer without them? Let me know in the comments. Have a great day, whatever you're getting up to. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do. I'm nearly at 2,000. I think I'm like 20 off. Could you be one of those 20? Have a great day. Thanks for watching. Goodbye. Bonus content. It's on the way, it's off, it's gone. I'm going to clean that bit. I'm going to put the new one on, and hopefully that's going to go with the nice new shiny windows. Well, it's on. This is the fun bit. Peeling this protective layer off now. Bit of ASMR for you. Ready? Here we go. Oh, isn't that satisfying? Right, that's done. Job done. Ta-ra.
Hello you absolute legends, welcome back to the channel. It's John here for an update video. It's an update from inside my latest car purchase. If you haven't seen the video on the channel already, I've bought myself a Mk1 Audi TT. It's the Coupe edition, not the Roadster edition. I have got one of those in my collection. And I wanted to do an update video really to let you guys know how it's been, how it's driving, how it feels, and what I know after driving 537 miles. If you haven't seen the video on the channel already of me walking around the car, you'll see that when I bought it, it got some interesting modifications, and it covered 139,000 miles from new. That normally would put a few people off. I put a picture on Twitter of the car. It had tinted lights, it had tinted back screen, it had decals all over it, and a few people were like, John, run away from this car. It's going to have been abused, it's going to have had the arse end dragged off it, and it's not going to have been looked after very well. But did that stop me, those naysayers on Twitter? No, of course not. I went ahead with my £1,500 and I bought my Audi TT. I've got a chance to talk about it now. What do I know? The guy that sold it to me was a bit of a numpty. He nabbed the parcel shelf out the back, which is now returned. I went and got it. I drove the 40 miles back to where I got the car from, and I picked it back up. And he was a bit sheepish about it, but I've got it. And things I've done to the car, if you haven't seen the update video already, I've removed the terrible light tints, and I have removed the horrible graphics and all the bits and pieces that were added to the car that shouldn't be on the car since it's been modified. Things I haven't done yet, I haven't removed the tinted rear windscreen glass. I'm a bit dubious about doing it wrong, so I've got to find a time and date to do it, and it's actually been horrible and wet and windy. The guy I bought it from, 87 years old. Has he ragged it? No. He's into his 3.2 Audi TTs, and he's got a few in his collection. And I've actually had a good look through all the paperwork, and apart from a period of 6 months in the car's history before the guy I bought it from, it'd been with guys, and they are guys, because I've got the names of the people, 6 or 7 years a pop. So the owners have had the car for 6 or 7 years and have done lots of service to all these cars, waving at this other Audi TT. And this car the past few years, so it has been looked after. In my initial video, I noticed that there was a bit of a grinding from a wheel hub or a wheel bearing at the back, and that there was a lot of travel from the brake pedal. The brake pedal travel I can live with. I've learnt to now drive the car, I suppose. I'm going to take a look at the brakes. I don't think that it's dangerous because the car's got a recent MOT the past month or so. But what do I know then after driving it for nearly 600 miles? It's quite quiet. It's not as rattly or knocky or bangy as the convertible Roadster edition. There's minimal wind noise. The turbo, I think, needs some attention, i.e. there's a bearing in it that's a bit rattly, but it does the job. The ride is nice and smooth. Again, I think that there's a wheel hub or wheel bearing that will need looking at in the future. Am I going to rush and do it? Probably not, actually. All the electrics work. There's no electrical faults at all. I thought there was one on the way home just now, in that my interior light came on when I went over a bump. I thought, that's it, a lock mechanism sensor micro switch is faulty, but it wasn't. I hadn't shut the boot properly, my fault. It hadn't told me because it sort of engaged, and then as I've gone over this bump, it's disengaged and my boot has come open. So it actually told me that the boot was open. That's not a fault. The radio works perfectly. I did think that the rear speakers weren't working. I've realised that they're a subwoofer. Now I've set the radio up fine, working nice. I've even tested it because it's got a cassette deck with a cassette deck. The aircon, it's not perfect. It works. All the climate control. Is it ice cold? No, it's not. Has the aircon ever been regassed? Well, it doesn't look like it through the paperwork. Something I'm going to address. The only thing, to me, that I think is a little bit of a red flag is I'm getting 27 to 30 miles per gallon out of the car. Is that standard? No, I would probably expect 35 to 40. That's exactly what the manufacturers suggest. What could that be? Well, it could be lots of many different things, isn't it? I have filled her up with E10. Not recommended for E10. I have put Redex in the tank, and that seems to have sprightened her up a little bit. But overall, my driving experience, my experience of the car so far has been a good one. I've been commuting in it. I've had some good comments from friends at work and colleagues. I've had the comments about it being a hairdresser's car. I've had the comments about it being beautiful and a very good condition car for its age. What am I going to do with it? Well, I bought the car for Mrs. John Coupland. She hasn't driven it yet due to personal health reasons at the moment. She's okay, but she's had an operation this week that we didn't know was happening, and so she's not been out and about and wanting to drive the car. I've continued to run it, going to work, and actually, after running it for a good couple of days, taking it 500 or 600 miles, it seems to have improved a bit. Again, I'm going over a bump. You can see my phone has moved in the holder that I'm recording with, but yeah, it's lovely. Suspension good, brakes okay. 140,000 miles, an Audi TT. Do I think it's been ragged with an inch of its life? No. Was I concerned that it had after I'd spoke to people on the internet? Yeah, absolutely. And my concern was the worst case scenario is it's going to go bang. There's a cut in the video because I came up to a roundabout and I didn't want to be talking whilst I was navigating a roundabout. So the one thing that I am going to do to the car, and it's booked in for this Monday with Dad, is to change the timing belt, because that has not been documented that it's been done since 70,000 miles. It was done 6 or 7 years ago. So that is something I'm going to be doing on Monday. Replace the timing belt and the water pump as well. I'm going to do that at the same time. Yeah, impressed. Watch this space. I'm enjoying it, genuinely. And it's been a good car so far. Again, I've only done 500 miles. It could break down tomorrow, right? But genuinely enjoying the car. I've been commuting in it. It's been getting a lot of love. It's not as rattly and horrible as I thought it was going to be. I haven't found any problems electronically or really mechanically. Things I'm going to do to the car to make it nice are on the way. But yeah, I wanted to give it an honest opinion. I didn't want to give you any fluff, but I also didn't want to lie to you and say, oh, the wheels are fine, when they weren't. Anyway, more updates from the Audi TT coming in the coming weeks and months as I drive it and as Mrs. John Coupland drive it. If you've enjoyed the video, please give me a like and a subscribe if you haven't already done so. And let me know in the comments below, have you had an Audi TT Mark 1? Was it a coupe? Was it a roadster? What did you think? Were you a fan? Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, have a great day, whatever you're getting up to. More to come on the Audi on the channel. Take care. Thanks for watching. And goodbye. Hello, you absolute legends. Welcome back to the channel. It's John here, and I've got my head in my hands because, well, this isn't a good video. I've got a problem. Let me show you that problem. Whilst driving to work this morning in the Audi TT, the Mark 1, the coupe, the one I've just bought, I noticed something. And you'll notice it too in just a moment. This. I've had an engine management warning light come up on my dash. I've got absolutely no idea what's caused it. Yeah, so this video we are going to live scan the car. We're going to scan the car with my OBD reader to see what the issue is. If it goes really well and it's something ridiculously silly like an oxygen sensor, then I can clear the code. If it's something more serious, turbo, something else, cat, who knows, then it might be a little bit more of an issue. You warned me, you tried to warn me, buying a car with 140,000 miles on the clock. I have done a couple of thousand miles in the car since I bought it. Let's go get the OBD reader and let's see what the problem is. One of the first things I actually need to do is roll out of the car and find the OBD port. I think it's under here somewhere. Yeah, there it is. So it's next to the bonnet release. Let me go get my OBD reader. Look at this, by the way. The car isn't relatively clean, but look at that. The birds have had a field day today. Let me go and, in fact, let me just make sure they've emptied my bins. Oh yeah, good news, that one's empty. That one's empty too. They didn't empty them last week. Don't know why. Don't know why they didn't empty the bins. But they've emptied my bins, so we'll bring this one down and we'll go get the OBD reader. And we shall see what the problem is. My shed is open for some reason.
I'm hoping Mrs. John Cooper just forgot to shut it and lock it, as opposed to I've been burgled. I don't think I have. And I do keep an OBD reader somewhere nice and safe. In here, if you remember, it's the Audi A4 B5 that I rescued from the scrapyard. It's still here. For sale if anyone wants it. It's lovely, it's beautiful, it's ready to go. So I haven't got a very posh OBD reader. In fact, it's the VW Audi Memo Scan. I think this was like 15 quid from eBay, something like that. But it is going to tell me what is wrong, fingers crossed, with the car. It'll give me a code. I'll then match that code up online to a diagnostic system, and it will tell me, hopefully, what's wrong with this pig. We shall soon find out. Pause. That'll be my thumbnail, I think. Thumbnail. Right, let's get down here, plug the OBD reader in. I'm going to get mud on my trousers, but it's okay. I'm wearing scruffs tomorrow for work, so we're all right. What's down there? What's this in here? I've never spotted this before. Okay, what on earth is that? Oh, that's a spare part from the oh, what's the word I want? Parcel shelf. I wonder what I've been rattling around in there. What else is in here? Some more bits. No idea what that is. Some sort of, I don't know, battery cover? It looks like a battery cover, doesn't it? No idea. Probably not relative to the car. Right, let's plug this OBD reader in. Which way round does it? Does it go this way around, I think? Don't tell me it's the wrong one. Don't tell me it doesn't fit. Hang on a minute. Oh, panicking then. It wasn't starting. Right, let's turn the ignition on. I will do things like turn the aircon off. That's all off. We've still got our engine light here. Menu. Engine. AT. SRS. ABS. Exit. Right, let's scan the engine first. Let's go to DTC. It will scan for codes. It will tell me what codes we've got. 7? 7? All right. Let's go through these. 16684. Oh. I should have scrolled. Sorry, my fault. Right, so 7. Let's just photograph that. 16684. 16685. 17763. 17608. 18010. 17705. 17536. And that is it. Right, let's find out what those are. In fact, what I'm going to do is jot them down. 16684. Yes. 85. 17763. 17608. 18010. 17705. 17536. Right, let's find out what they are. Okay, so I've looked at all those fault codes on the computer and gone through them. There's not really anything I'm massively concerned about. You know, it's not your turbo is dead, mate. But there's a few things we need to look at and a few things that we need to think about. So let's scroll through them. 16684, that is a misfire detected. Not a problem. It was running a bit lumpy this morning. That is probably what's caused the engine light to come on this morning. 16685 is a misfire detected in cylinder 1, just telling me where the misfire is. 17763, open circuit in cylinder 1. Again, all things pointing towards cylinder 1. 17608, this is where it starts to get worrying. Boost pressure control valve. Now, I know the car has had a recirculation valve fitted to it, so it might be that the pressure control valve has actually been bypassed. I'll need to check on that. 18010, voltage low in terminal 30. Terminal 30, that's the battery. Not bothered. Okay, voltage low, not an issue. 17705, pressure drop between turbo and throttle valve. Yeah, that could be a problem. Pressure drop between turbo and throttle valve. And then 17536 is fuel trim bank 1 too lean. Could be a boost problem, could be a turbo problem there. What I'm going to do now is clear all the codes. So how do we do this? Erase. Yes, erasing all the codes. That should, in theory, get rid of the engine management warning lights. See now, the erase is done. No, we don't want to do the erase now. No, scroll through, exit, engine, enter, and then diagnostic tool. See if it pulls up anything else. No codes. That's good. Right, let's turn the ignition off. You still see the warning light is on the dash. Turn that off. Turn it on. And in theory... Uh-oh. Okay, so the light's still on. Start the car and the light has gone out. So we have turned that light off now. It has gone. I'm going to leave the car running. I'm going to just put a bit of throttle in and you can hear it. There's a little bit of a boost leak. I need to address that, but the engine management warning light has gone off. Let's scan it again. Now, one thing I'm thinking is, yesterday I did fill up with some petrol. I didn't put E5 in it, I put E10 in it. Let's scroll, let's go to the exit here, let's go to AT now. Let's go to the scanning of the AT. See what we've got on here. Scan, 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 scan. Scan, 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 it's still scanning. So far, I'm not that concerned because we've turned the light off and it could be that fuel, that naff fuel that has caused the issue, but there is certainly a little bit more that we need to consider, isn't there? This scanning's taking ages. Linking error. Okay. Must admit, I don't really know what I'm doing. Let's exit this again. SRS and ABS. Right, let's check out the SRS. I don't know what all these things are. SRS. I know the engine one, obviously. No codes. That's good news. Right, DTC. Let's scroll. ABS. I'm assuming that is ABS, as you would expect it to be. Ah, it's checking my ABS. Oh, excellent. Fantastic. That's good. That's a good piece of kit. It checks my ABS as well. 15 quid. And exit. So engine, one last time. We'll scan it. And no codes. I think what I'm going to do is wait. Now we've cleared those codes, it could be a case of it was just a piece of nasty fuel that caused me a problem. There are other things on there that we need to check out, like the low voltage. That could be historic in the car. What else do we need to check out? The throttle issue and the boost issue. You can imagine how I was feeling when I got that EML light on this morning and a little bit of a misfire. What do I do now then? What's the next plan? I'm about to have my tea, is the honest answer. I've got fish and rice and potatoes. Very nice. No, seriously though, what is the next plan? The car still needs to go to Dad for a look around. He's going to look around the car and tell me what he thinks to it, if he thinks there's any problems, anything that we need to address. And we'll go from there. I will tell him about those codes, I'll document those codes, I'll make a note of those codes, because they could come back, right? It might be that, as I say, the recirculation valve that has been fitted to the car has thrown some of them codes up at the time Obviously I haven't scanned the car when I bought it. I didn't carry my code scanner with me. I should have done probably, but I didn't do that at the time. We shall see how it goes. Am I panicking? No, not yet. Was it concerning this morning when I was halfway to work and saw an engine warning light on? Yeah, actually it was. So we shall see how it goes. If you've enjoyed the video, let me know. You might be an expert in Audis and Audi fault codes and Audi TTs. Let me know any of those codes I should worry about, anything that I should be doing straight away, because I won't lie, I'm not an expert when it comes to Audi TTs. Let me know in the comments below. I'm going to go and see the inspector. She's been locked up all day and make sure that she's okay. Yeah, it was worrying, concerning, but thankfully not as bad at the moment as what I was expecting. It certainly isn't pointing to massive engine failure. Maybe some spark plugs, maybe some leads, maybe even air filter. Let me know, what do you think? Should I be panicking? Should I sell it? Or shall I bite the bullet, clean the bird poo off and carry on enjoying it? Hope you've enjoyed the video, whatever you're getting up to. There's plenty more coming up on the channel in the next few weeks. Have a great day. Take care. Goodbye. Hello, you absolute legends. Welcome back to the channel on an intermittent rainy day here in Lincolnshire. If you haven't watched the video already, posted a few days ago, I have an issue with the TT, the brand new one to the fleet. Have I made an issue, a mistake? Yeah, probably. And if you remember, I had a whopping 7 fault codes. The car's developed a misfire after putting some pretty crap fuel in it, and the fleet manager, also known as Dad, is here. I've had a bit of advice on the internet after putting those fault codes on the internet. Big shout out to Pete, not this Pete, Pete from the internet, from Twitter, who has suggested we have a look at a few different things. It's probably an ignition fault somewhere, but also these engines, the 1.8T engines, are notorious to have issues with vacuum hoses and turbo leaks and all sorts of stuff. So in this video then, we're going to have a look, see what we can do. Dad's going to give the car a good old once over. He hasn't had a look at the car since I've bought it, and we're going to identify if there's any faults, any problems, and see if we can fix just a few of these issues. And maybe, just maybe, Dad might find a bit more. We've got the engine cover off, and we can see that at some point in its life it's been modified. This is the PCV valve. It's had Forge Motorsport hoses fitted. These are special hoses. They are silicone. They're meant to be much better. It's got some sort of whoosh valve here as well. I don't know what that is. And if we have got an issue on coil pack 1, well, the coil pack 1 has been replaced recently because it's got a brand newish coil pack. It has cracked, however. It is cracked, look. Yeah, can you see that? There's a big crack down it.
See, the wiring's all hacked about there.
And the wiring has been hacked about, as Dad says, so that might be the issue. We'll start it up and we'll see. Just show me that face again. Switch it off. So quite a weird one because it's now not misfiring. Dad's not sure. We're going to top the water up first and foremost, just to get that topped up. Now there is quite a lot of sludge and gunk and gold in there. My concern is, has it got head gasket failure? That's a concern. It did make a horrible noise. Hopefully the video has captured that horrible noise. That's a job to do, take that all out, clean it all out, but that's a cosmetic issue. That, again, least of my worries. So we've got oil, we've got water, and actually it's running and working fine. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some sort of air leak in here because the turbo isn't as pokey as it should be. But the fact that someone's added all this and this and all this, yeah, it's quite worrying. Right, car's ticking over fine. Dad's going to take it for a spin. We've put the code reader back on. There's no new codes. at the moment, a little bit unsure. I was concerned that the gold stuff in the coolant tank was K-seal. It's not. Dad's confirmed it's not. At the moment, we're not looking like a head gasket failure, which is good news, but we haven't ruled anything out. Dad's going to take it for a spin. We're going to go to Dad's house. We're going to have a look at all the mechanicals, give it a good once over, and see if we can diagnose the fault. Well, it's raining, so it's dinner time. So it's absolutely chucking it down with rain. Dad's brought the car to his house. There it is, along with his trusty Nissan Note, Peugeot 406, and I've been really lazy and driven round. We're going to get it in the garage. Dad's taken it for a spin. He agrees there is definitely an issue somewhere. It could be a air leak. Could be something a bit more sinister. At the moment, we're going to just get it in the garage and have a good going over, literally diagnosing everything, seeing what the problems are and seeing if we can fix it. The fact that the diverter valve has been messed about with, we've had that stupid whooshy-whizzy air thing put in. I don't like that, so my intention is to try and put the car back to standard. We shall see if we're able to do that or if I need to buy some parts. But yeah, it's a perfect day for tinkering in the garage because I'm not going to be doing much sunbathing. Right, we'll get the car in, getting the engine, not the engine, the door open. Move this out of the way. Dad's in the car, we shall get it in and have a look. Here he comes. You absolute pig. Work! So the very first thing we're going to do is check the PCV valve. Everybody in the world has told me to check the PCV valve. There's oil all on that pipe. We found something else that we don't like the look of down here that's been bodged at some point. There it is. It's got all sealant and gunk on it. We're not going to play with that yet. Let's test this valve because this valve is probably what's causing us an issue.
Forge.
Yeah, so it's got Forge Motorsport silicone hoses on, so it's been upgraded at some point in its life. The way to test the PCV valve is to blow in it, I suppose, and if you can blow through it, then big prob. So Dad has openly admitted that he knows nothing about these engines, and that's because the Audi TTs I've owned previously he's not really had to fix. He's had to put a radio aerial on the back of my Roadster and a few brakes, and that's pretty much it. We've not really had to do much mechanicking, much spannering under the bonnet. The fact that we've bought this with zero service history from about 2018, and the fact that we don't know what's gone on underneath the bonnet, we're sort of coming in blind a little bit, so it's a bit of a, I don't know, diagnostics. We'll see what's going on. Dad's chuntering.
PCV valve's fucked.
The PCV valve is no good. Absolutely no good, is it? You could blow straight through that.
It's supposed to be able to do.
I don't think so. No, I think it should have a valve in it. So that's the first thing. PCV valve, no good. So we've established this is not the PCV valve. It's the pressure regulating valve, and by the looks of things, it's working fine. It's original to the car, 2000 it's got stamped on it, and there's an uprated part of this that you can buy. They're like 10-20 quid. If we have any major problems, that is something we're going to end up replacing. But at the moment, we've done the suction test on it and it seems to be working fine. However, we have identified the fault. We found the problem. We know well, we found a problem. There's a pipe under here that's got all silicone all over it that has been effectively bodged up. We're going to have to take the manifold off by the looks of things to get at it, but it's all split. It's all no good. That's going to be what's causing us an issue. That's going to be what's giving us partially the air issue, the air leak. We're just going to have to get a look at it, get the unit and replace it. But yeah, I think we found the problem. Right, so it's tear down. We're going to have to tear it down. This is the intercooler pipe. We've put a glove on there to stop stuff from going in there, so it's not going to go in there. We've got to get the throttle body, this is the throttle body, off, then the manifold off. To get at it, we've got to get this oil pipe, sorry, not the oil pipe, the dipstick. Some would say they're behind the camera. The dipstick oil cover off. It's not going to be fun, this isn't, but I think we've found the problem. Really important, we've disconnected the battery. Really important, that. We are taking the throttle body off. Dad is not impressed with the project so far. We're about 20 minutes in and he's already cursing German cars to a point where he's advocating Renaults, saying Renaults are easier to work on. This is going to be a big project. Well, not that big, not that big. Not that big for Dad, but...
Not as big as rebuilding engine,
got to take the charge pipe off. That's what I'm doing right now, taking the charge pipe off. Throttle body's off. We're going to get this manifold sort of flipped up and out the way. This is going to cause us an issue at the moment because they are stuck in there, but we'll get this off. We're having to drill those plastic screws out.
They're not plastic, are they? Don't remember.
Are they not plastic?
No, you've had me changing them things on that other one, wasn't you?
I don't know, I thought they were plastic.
Them stainless steel things.
We'll be replacing them anyway with a stainless steel system, so no panic. Plastic trim is off. We've had to drill that out. It was giving us a right grief, but it's off. You can see it there. We're getting there. Just shine your light here. Hang on. Give me your light. There we go. I've got the light. We're probably not going to have to take the manifold off, which is good news. Under here is where the pipe is. That's no good. Let me stick my phone down there. Hang on a minute. No. In here. There's the problem. There is the problem. That pipe is no good. And it's been siliconed up and no good. Well, we've definitely found one of the problems. In fact, I think there's going to be multiple problems. The pipes literally have just fell apart as Dad's moved them. Here we go. This is one of the issues. So this connects up to the pipe at the top somewhere. This is all literally no good. Look, it's absolutely knackered. So that's that piece. It's original, 13th of the 3rd, 2001. It's going to be original to the car. That's that piece. And then it comes down into this piece. There's a little T-piece here. And this might be the problem. Someone at some point has had a go at fixing this, as you can see. It is all just taped up. That's good, that is. That's real good, that. Is it literally just taped?
Looks like it, isn't it? Like, yeah, it's got insulation tape around.
That's the way to fix it, isn't it? Just tape the bugger up.
This is the amazing one.
But this one, yeah, this is the one that's really no good. It is literally just disintegrated. Show everybody that. It's just failed. Fine, there's still more of that left on the car to get at. It's under the manifold. But that then comes up to this hockey puck thing. The recirculation valve, but there's more under here. I think the more we dig, the worse it's going to get. But that's the issue. That might cause the problem. So we're going to have to buy a few parts. And fingers crossed we found the issue. People saying air leak, well, that's definitely going to be an air leak, that. Especially if it's held together with gaffer tape. Wonder how much Audi you'll want for one of these. More splittage found down here. Hang on a minute. I'll come round here and we'll have a look. All down in here. Is that all the same piece?
Yeah.
It's all the same piece. It's that T-bar piece under there. Fine, not an issue. We know what we're dealing with now. They're all the original hoses. I'm surprised they haven't been done in the car's history, to be honest with you. Considering people have been messing about with forge hoses and bits and pieces. Fine. Dad's fighting with the hoses over there, trying to get the rest of them off. It's been stuck together with electrical tape. Literally, the pipe has been just bodged with electrical tape. There's the issue. I'm actually gobsmacked, really, because this has been done quite a long time ago, to be honest with you. It's not been done recent. This is all old and cracked and no good. I don't think the seller who sold me the car has done this. It's probably been on that car 6 years, 7 years. Somebody at some point has had desperate measures to try and fix this pipe. They've literally just gaffer taped it up, which is bonkers. That's certainly the issue. And look at this as well. This is like sponge in here. Have you ever watched Stranger Things? It looks like the inside of the Demogorgon. Look. In there. Inside of a Demogorgon. Yeah, you've never watched Stranger Things, so you don't know. But there's more coming off. We've got this elbow.
No, I'm too busy thinking about your cars.
It's all broken and cracked. Yeah, we found the issue. Okay, so after struggling, this bit got stuck in the engine block. We can see what's wrong with the car, and actually, it's almost laughable. I've never seen so much electrical tape used for a non-electrical purpose. It's all broken. All of the pipe is no good and split, and obviously we've destroyed it some more taking it off. But you can see that it's all the original pipe. It's got the date stamp on there, 2001. It's all original to the car, and actually 23 years old, 22 years old. I'm surprised it hasn't been done in the car's lifetime. So this piece is split, which means this pipe all needs replacing. This piece here has all been siliconed and gunked up. This has just turned to dust, really. This is the bit that's sort of really causing the problem, this bit in here. It's full of oil and gunk, and then it goes into this pipe, which is all split as well. So, yeah, quite a few new parts. You can see how much the plastic has deteriorated. Look at it just all cracking in there. It really is no good. What have you removed there? Is that okay? Is that piece okay? It looks all right, doesn't it? There's no splits or anything in that. So, is that the piece that goes up to the hockey puck? The PV, this valve thing we've found.
The forge thing.
The forge. So, as I say, it goes up to the forge parts. So we're going to have to buy one of these, brand new from Audi, 180 quid. Some of this, you can get a kit online, 20 odd quid. Going to obviously shop about, but this is where your problem is. It's going to feel like a new car when it's done, hopefully. Dad's still looking. He's probably seeing if he can find some more split pipes, valves. We're going to probably look at the PCV valve while we're here, which I think is that hockey puck style thing. We managed to do it without removing the manifold, because we didn't want to start messing about with that. That's the problem. Now to buy some of this. Look at all this. What an absolute bodge. And this has genuinely been on the car ages. You can tell it has. It's not been bodged by the seller from who I bought the car from. It's been like that for a while. We're going to do it properly, but considering it's 23 years old and these are renowned for having pipe problems, I'm quite impressed it started at all. Dad's found some more. Uh-oh.
There's the brake servo, look.
Yep.
That's the one-way valve on the brake servo.
Yep.
Can you see that plastic pipe?
Nope. Yes.
It's got a split in it, look.
Uh-oh. It has got a split in it. That's got to come off. Fun. What have you found?
Those are the fuel pressure regulators.
Oh dear.
It's melted at the end like they do.
Can that be chopped and
I think so.
shortened? Yeah.
It'd be a bit tight though.
The more we look, the more we find pipes that are split, frayed, burnt, knackered. We've had a look all around the turbo. So far, so good. And that was my concern. My concern was the turbo was broken. But this probably hasn't helped. What's this going to cost me? Who knows? We'll soon find out.
Where's the getting on, Bill? This one.
I'm just checking all the pipes now because while we're here, if there's one that's split, we might as well replace it. I'm going to pressure test the system. Check everything. Trying to remove as little as possible, but also do a thorough job. I don't know how I feel about this. I'm a bit disheartened at that. But also, knowing the fact that it's original and someone hasn't messed about with the car is a nice feeling. The dump valve, the recirc valve, the boost valve thing here, probably going to end up taking off. They're 140 odd quid, those things. But let's take this out here. But we shall see in just a moment what all this is doing. But Dad is still giving it the once over. Mirrors, handy when you're checking for leaks. Well, so far everything that is broken we've got off the car. There's single-use clips on all of this, which are a nightmare. The plan is we're going to try and repair this the best we can, as opposed to buy a whole new system, because, well, I think I should have been sat down when I saw the price of it. And there's bits of it that we can repair. There is a valve in here, which is no good. This valve here is all sticking, so that will need replacing, and it's no good. We need to find part numbers. There's part numbers all over it, so that's fine. But this is the PCV system. Any good?
That one's all right.
That valve is all right. Yeah. So the next part will be to repair it all and get all the part numbers together. But that solved the problem. Well, it hasn't solved the problem. It's found the problem of why the car is A, misfiring, B, doesn't boost very well, and C, has a horrible old rattle when we are putting the throttle down. He looks a defeated man. If you've enjoyed the video, drop us a like, drop us a thumbs up. Maybe I should start a GoFundMe for the TT. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do. There's loads of videos coming, including one where we will clearly repair this and see how we get on. Have a great day, whatever you're getting up to. Take care from the TT workshop. A broken man. A broken man. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Legends, welcome back to the channel. Right, if you remember last time in the video, we had identified loads of stuff that was no good and broken and totally knackered on the Audi TT. We've ordered some parts. Everything that's got a red, flame red Nissan Micro blodge on, this bit, this bit, this bit, this bit, this bit, this bit, has now been ordered. How much has it cost so far? Well, this bit and this bit and this bit, 12 quid. This bit here, a genuine Audi part, 25 quid. This bit here, another genuine Audi part, 25 quid. This bit here, if I wanted to replace this, is a whopping £150, this pipe here. We're going to repair that. It's only cracked at that end. We're going to try and repair that. That's a servo pipe. So far, what have we spent? 60 quid? 60 quid to replace those bits. We're going to have a cup of tea and then check the other bits, spark plugs, air filter, and see what other bits and pieces we need. But fingers crossed, so far, the parts for this system we've managed to find. And they've not been as extortionate, really, as I expected. So we shall find out in just a minute. And in this video, we're going to carry on with the car. We're going to keep stripping it down, keep having a look, seeing what sort of things we might need to address. We're going to look at the spark plugs. We're going to look at the air filter. We're going to look at hoses to and from the turbo. And also check out the catch can boost system diverter valve that somebody has fitted. It's going to be another long one. Fingers crossed, I'm genuinely hoping we don't find any other major issues. The parts are on order, as I've just said. We're waiting for them to arrive. But we are really giving this car a blooming good going over. Whilst Dad's getting towards the turbo, I've taken the air filter out. And you can see it's in not the best condition. So I've just bought another one. This is a man filter. £8.99 off eBay, brand new with free postage. Another pipe we have found that is split, which is the turbo pipe, which is probably explaining why she's whistling. Dad's going to take the pipe off and then we can have a good old look at what the issue is.
Typical turbo pipe split, that is.
Well, there we go. The turbo pipe is absolutely knackered. It's split right at the bottom, which I was hoping not that was the case, because a genuine Audi one is like 200 quid. That's why people replace them with silicone ones. That's why people uprate them. What have you found?
Turbos.
How? How do we know?
See that there?
Yeah.
That's the play in the fairings.
Okay. How broken is that? Oh dear. We have found some more holes in the turbo intake pipe here. There's a great big hole there. It's all no good at the bottom here, as you can see. There is a little bit of play in the turbo, as Dad has just quite rightly said. We've had a look at it. We've got two options now. We can put a new turbo in it, which is not going to happen. We could fit a new impeller, which again is not going to happen. It's us and Dad in his shed. We're going to just leave it. We're going to leave it alone. It's not hurting anything. It's not too bad. So we shall see. But I've just ordered a new silicone turbo hose. It's cost me 80 odd quid. Dad's now checking the spark plugs. There's a bit of oil in the bores, but we shall check the plug gaps, and now we are looking at the spark plugs. Some good news. Spark plugs are okay and the gaps are okay, so no major issues there. We've discovered a small leak in a servo pipe. We thought we'd got some shrink tube to fit, but I think we've not got some shrink tube to fit.
Stuffed up your bottom.
Oh dear. Maybe it's not as easy as a fix as we thought. So the weeniest split on this hose, we've just fixed with some shrink tube. It was very similar to this. The majority of it was covered with a valve. It's just to stop any potential leaks in the future. So we've started to put bits back on the car now. This pipe here is back on. This pipe here is on. That is to the brake servo that had a split in it. We could see that we've repaired it with shrink tube. The pipe is back in and it comes down to here, and then the rest of the PCV pipe work is here. We are waiting now on a brand new turbo inlet pipe. We've ordered a new one of those. I've ordered a silicone one. That needs to go back together. Then we need to wait for these bits to arrive to replace these bits in red. But we've had enough for the day. It has been a busy old day of it, and Dad, bless him, has been working quite hard on this all day. So he's going to go in. I'm going to go home, see the inspector. We're in a state of dismantling. I'm a bit disheartened with the car tonight, as is Dad. But tomorrow is another day, and when we get our bits and pieces, we'll start putting it back together. We are pretty confident that there's no more hose leaks, air leaks. We're not 100% certain. We won't know until we get it all back together. This is clearly going to be causing us a problem. and all these ones that we've identified. Worst case scenario is that the turbo is well and truly shot, and that's not something that we're going to be doing in the garage. I can't expect Dad to do that.
Anybody want to buy an Audi TT?
Anyone want to buy an Audi TT? It might be a case of that I put it up for sale after we get it all working, or I enjoy it, I use it for what it is, and we go from there. So next update will be another day. Well, after a brief interlude of a couple of days off since we last had a look at the car, Dad's been doing a little bit of work, and you'll see that Dad's been doing a little bit of work because, oh my goodness, he's got the front bumper off. Why has he got the front bumper off is the question. Well, whilst we're checking all the hoses and bits and pieces in here and replacing it, I said to Dad a couple of days later, in fact yesterday, I said, have we checked the pipes to the intercooler, to the radiator? And he said, no, actually, I haven't. They look good, but the way to tell is take the front bumper off. So we've taken the front bumper off. We're looking at the pipes here. All the pipes to the intercooler look fine, no splits. They've actually been replaced at some point in its life. The pipe here to the charge pipe is looking good. That's a genuine Audi part. Looks like it's been replaced. And we've got the front bumper off, and we found a few more problems. Nothing major, to be honest with you. We've got a wire here that is clearly split, and it goes into this pipe here. That is an electrical wire that feeds a water pump, which puts water into the system to cool the turbo after use. It's frayed, and rather than cut, it's not been working for a very, very long time. While we're here, obviously, we're going to reinstate that electrical cable. But no major issues under here. This crash bar is looking quite good. The intercooler is fine. The radiator is fine. The bumper, obviously, as you can see, is off. It's not a major issue to take one of these off. I didn't quite realise. You can see these are the aliens. Here, these are they're called aliens, but they're washer, headlight washer jets that pop up. They're working fine. We've tested that system. Dad's put a connector in the end there, and you can see there's some paint residue on this sort of mud flap underneath there. That is evidence that the car has been painted at some point in its life. But yeah, so far no other major issues found. It's a case of where do you stop with this one, isn't it? There's water in this battery holder because we've got a water pipe off. There is oil everywhere under this bonnet, and that's going to be because it's been chucking oil out everywhere because the PCV valve, which is in here, is no good. It's absolutely knackered, and all these pipes are split. What's the plan? Well, I could spend a little bit of money throwing it at the car, getting it nice, getting it perfect. The turbo issue, I've had a little bit of a soul search with regards to that. I'm not sure it's necessarily an issue as opposed to just normal wear and tear. I've spoken to a couple of Audi experts. They've said that wear and play in there is not abnormal. It's not ideal, obviously, but it's not going to cause major issues to the car in the future. And it is 140,000 miles. The car is done, and clearly it's been serviced, i.e. oil and filter, air filter. Well, I'll say that about the air filter. It hasn't had one for a little while, if you can remember. We looked at that one. But mechanically, it needs some TLC. Underneath, the car is fantastic. It really is good. It's been looked after cosmetically under here, and it's had multiple resprays and rebuilds and love and attention cosmetically. The interior is like new. You know, the interior is really good, and it's not helped with that really harsh light I've just shined in there. But mechanically, which is where you want to be right, it needed some TLC. What have I spent so far? I've ordered a new turbo intake pipe, silicon. It's from a website called Gravity Performance. It's cost me nearly 100 quid. The other parts and bits and pieces, the PCV kit has cost me 60 quid. And there's going to be sensors and bits and pieces on the way that I need to test. This is the N75 valve, which is something we need to check and test. That could be causing me some problems. They're relatively cheap to fix. They're about 20 quid for a valve. So that's potentially something we're going to be doing. We need to test that at some point. That'll be done soon. Headlights are fine. I'll give them a good old clean while they're out. And then it's a case of just putting it back together and seeing how we go. There was a braking issue, i.e. that the brake pedal travelled so much further than it needed to travel. I think that these repairs that we've done to the servo cable will certainly solve that problem or make the braking much better. At the moment, I'm a lot more optimistic than I was a couple of days ago. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work for Dad. He's not necessarily enjoying this process. He doesn't really like working on German cars. He doesn't really like working on Audi TTs. But it's the sort of thing that we need to do. We're this far into it now, aren't we? We are, you know, elbow deep in drama. So we've got to fix it. Yeah, that is the update today on, on the TT. If you've enjoyed the video, let me know. There'll be obviously more to come. We'll start putting it back together, getting it fixed and getting it back on the road. If you've enjoyed the video, please give it a like. Please give it a thumbs up. Please give it a subscribe if you haven't already done so. And there'll be more, as I say, on the channel in the next few weeks. Have a great day, whatever you're getting up to. Take care and goodbye. Hello, you absolute legends. Welcome back to the channel. I am here, sat on my little stool in Dad's workshop, having a bit of an existential crisis about this. This is the Audi TT Mk1 Coupe that I bought recently. It's quite broken. At the moment, if you haven't seen my updates on Twitter, we've found loads of problems, really. I'll show you the problems. The problems are as follows. These things. These are the pipe work, the pressure control valve. You can see it here. It's been bodged with masking tape in its life. That's good. This bit has literally turned to dust. This is the turbo valve. That is what controls the air intake from the airbox. This is the airbox side. Down into the turbo. It's very broken, exceptionally broken at the moment. There's a full video coming on the channel, a whole full video, talking about what we've done, what the problem is, this pig. But at the moment it's causing me dramas. It's not causing me sleepless nights yet, but look at this. This was stuck inside the engine block. That's part of a pipe. Where's the other part? That's part of this pipe. So that was stuck in the engine. I had to fabricate a tool to pull that bit out. I've got some parts on order. 100 and something quid. But there it is. Giving me drama here in Dad's workshop. What am I going to do? Well, I'm going to throw a hilarious amount of money at it, aren't I? That's the only thing I can do. We'll see how we get on. Here's Dad. He's a broken man as well. He's had enough of the Audi TTs. Thumbs up from Dad. As I say, full video coming to the channel shortly. But, yeah, how are you spending your weekend?
Hello, you absolute legends. Welcome back to the channel. I'm filming this voiceover after the fact because, well, I actually forgot to film an intro to this video. This is part 3 of the Audi TT, day 3. Hope you enjoy the video.
Okay, so in a previous video, Dad noticed that this electrical cable here was split, and here. I think it's been cut. What do you reckon?
No idea, mate. It might have been cut. It might have been just yanked. Have a look.
Well, it looks like it's burnt.
That's corrosion, isn't it?
I'm gonna say it's been cut. You're gonna repair it anyway, and I suppose we'll see what happens. It's a cable that goes to a pump that feeds water to the turbo to cool it down after close down. So it's clearly not been working. Dad's going to repair it. He's got his repair kit here. It's just going to be a case of soldering the wires back together, or crimping them back together. Are you going to crimp it or solder it? Soldering and shrink tubing back together, and seeing if that repairs anything. Miraculously, by the way, we've just had a delivery. Get rid of that, it's got Dad's address on it, of this part. This is a piece for the PCV system here. Shocked that that's come. It's a Sunday today when I'm filming this. We ordered it Friday night, so the fact that they're out delivering on a Sunday, that's quite impressive in my opinion. Yeah, this is one job we're doing. That's another job then. Dad has repaired this cable, this wire from here to here, new wire, shrink tube, soldered it back together. Obviously can't really test it because we're still in a state of disrepair. But yeah, the general consensus is somehow it's got caught or cut. I don't think it's been cut on purpose. So yeah, another piece done. I've just tested the N75 valve. The way to test it, by the way, is to blow into the tube here, into the input, and if you've got air escaping into the turbo inlet through here, then it has failed. It hasn't failed, which is good news. So blow in here, you've got air escaping here, which is good news. It's meant to, but it's not meant to come out here, and it doesn't. So that is something that is not broken. And the under tray is hilariously oily, covered in dirt and grime and trash. So I'm just going to clean it off. Got some elbow grease, got a brush there and a cleaner. We'll just clean that off. It's just a jobbed. That didn't work very well, that idea, so I've had to break out the jet wash. That's doing the trick. That's getting it off. Cleanest Mk1 TT under tray in the UK now, that is. Job done. We've also found hanging off the suspension underneath the car this cross brace piece. It goes into the suspension. So we're going to fix it, but before we fix it I'm going to give it a clean as well. So that cross member piece we've just washed. Dad's discovered why there's an issue. Tell me more.
This bit should be fastened in the subframe, and it's not. Should be pressed in and it's come out, so I think I'm going to have to weld it in.
What are you going to do?
I'll drill a couple of holes in it and spot weld it in.
Excellent. And what do you think it does?
Not a lot, I shouldn't think.
Probably not a lot, but that's how it should be. So we're going to put that back in. So I'm under the car. This is where the one that is in place is. And this is where we've got to fix the other one. So all I'm going to do is use my trusty sandpaper and just clean this off a little bit, and then we can weld it in. So I've just been underneath the car cleaning the area where it is going to fit and where Dad's fixed it. Apart from all this oil on the bottom of the sump of the engine and all that sort of stuff, it's relatively clean underneath the car. I'm very shocked. In fact, it's very, very, very good. I'm not going to get wiggled right under here again. Let's have a look under here. Have a look at the cats and all that. That is filth under there. Look at that. Absolutely filthy. I'm going to have to clean all that off before we get going again. Just brush it off, geyser it off, clean it off. Not a major issue. But the oil under here is obviously from split pipes just being shoved everywhere. But look down there. Look under here. Let's get wiggled underneath here. Underneath the car is relatively clean. There's no rust or rot or anything under here. And the arms, look at the arms. I'm surprised at that. 140,000 miles. This is where I've just been cleaning. It's a bit of Jekyll and Hyde, this car, it really is. It's been cosmetically looked after and everything past the engine bay. It's lovely. Mechanically, it's a pig. Mechanically, it's terrible. Makes me wonder what the previous owners were thinking. Have I missed something desperately worrying?
Make money work for you. Circumstances or industry agencies apply. Unpredictable at times. Allowing you to fit study around your life. What's
Okay, so Dad's done the welding. I'm not qualified with a welder, or trusted probably. I'm going to go under here now and paint the piece just to stop it from corroding. Let's get underneath the car. Oh my goodness. Here we go. Whoops. And that is what Dad has done. Fixed that piece, ground it off, and all I'm going to do is just spray it now with some black anti-chip. Thankfully, I've not had to be precious about overspray. But that's just painted that up. I'm going to give it another coat in a second. It's still warm, so the anti-chip's going to dry nice and quickly. And I'm under the car doing some actual spannering myself. I'm impressed. That end's in. This is the bar. This end is in. So we'll just tighten it up. Copper slipped all the nuts. Sorry, the bolts. And just ratcheting it up now. While we're at this stage of dismantling, Dad's going to check out the aircon system. The aircon does kick in. It gets relatively cold, but it's not nice and cool as you think you'd expect. Now, I've got no service history for the aircon unit, so Dad is just checking out the aircon system just to see if he can find any major faults. If not, it might be a case of when we're back on the road nipping down to our local ATS, paying them 30 odd quid with a Groupon code. That's a little trick. And getting them to service the air conditioning, and just to see if it will actually work. I'm expecting it to be serviceable, but obviously if it's got a great big leak in it, then there's no point in wasting me 30 odd quid. Well, the good news is Dad's not found any major issues with the aircon, nothing hanging off, everything looks good. So unless there is a fault somewhere deep inside, aircon should be fine. The only way to tell is, as I say, take it to our local garage and have it leak tested, and then if it's only good, take some in and put some out. As I say, for the sake of 35 quid with the Groupon code, it's worth doing. Next job! We are going to drain the coolant system.
We've got an antifreeze.
Here we have.
We've got enough.
Yeah, we've got some antifreeze. We're going to drain the coolant system. We are going to take the the coolant bottle out. Can you see it's all horrible? I'm going to clean it all out. We are going to then refill the coolant system. It's empty because we've got some pipes off, but have a look in here. Can you see in there? I'm trying to light that up so we can see. It's absolutely full of what can I describe as sludge. Nonsense, rubbish. That is going to be so much better when that's all cleaned out. Coolant is draining. Dad's surprised because actually under here somewhere is a drain tap. So we're draining out the last of the coolant that's actually left in the car. Just trying to get this off and this off, and we'll get that out. Well, that's the coolant tank out, and you can see how filthy it is. I'll hold that up to the non-existent sun. There it is. Right, we're going to have to get that cleaned. I've crept into the kitchen to clean the coolant tank, and Mum is here. So I'm just going to sneak over here. Goodbye, sludge. Goodbye. Stuff that was in the coolant tank that shouldn't be. Soup. Well, it's never going to be as clean as it was the day it left the factory, but it is now running clear. I've had a good old clean in there. It could be worse, couldn't it? That is the coolant tank refitted. It's looking much better than it was. It's still not perfect, but it's certainly much better. And we're going to give the coolant system now a clean out. We're going to drain it. I say we're going to drain it. We're going to fill it, flush it, then drain it again. Here is the old coolant.
Get the old hydrometer and check this gravity.
Oh, good idea. Where is the hydrometer? It's in this box, is it? Draw. Aha! Hydrometer.
Let's see what's
Not a lot.
there is.
Is there?
It's a bit, sure.
Just explain to people what you've got there.
It's a thing that measures the amount of specific gravity of the more balls of thing are floating is the number of two floating.
So basically it measures the amount of antifreeze.
Yeah, protection to -15.
There you go, -15. Well, hopefully we're not getting any further past that. But that is bleh,
It is, isn't it?
horrible.
It's filled my tool up with sludge.
Do you think that's an issue?
No,
It's just where someone's mixed a load of antifreeze, right?
it's been neglected. It's been neglected, mate. Any old sludge has been put in it, isn't it?
We're in putting stuff back together mode now. It's time to put the headlights back in and the bumper back on.
See if I'm in the hole.
Well, I can't see anything. Give me your light.
It goes in the hole.
Peg in hole. Oh yeah, I can see it. Let me put my phone down. Look at those flaps that had purple overspray on them. They're now nice and clean. I've cleaned this off, just blasted it off. It was all oily. There's still some cleaning to do on that pipe, but and then this was all oily and dirty. I've cleaned this off. Everything's getting a good old clean. So while I've got the bumper off, Dad's got the lights back in. These are the OEM lights. You can see where they have been fitted at factory. They've got all the marks on, which are handy. We are going to just give them a bit of a clean. I'm not going to use any sort of expensive headlight restorer kit. You can see that I've had a good little go with this one. This one's a bit, I don't know, hazy. Literally, this is all you need. People are going to shout at me, but I think this stuff's wonderful. Original T-cut on there. It doesn't need sealing. We're not going to go crazed. We've also got, what's he got over here?
Steve uses them first.
What's that? Steve? Who's Steve?
Bodyman at Johnson's.
Oh, right, okay. What's this then?
It's an abrasive pad.
Oh,
really,
this-
really bad.
Let's give it a go.
No, he doesn't want the DA.
Oh, we're not going to do that. We're going to put this, which is a lamb's wool bonnet, on a drill, just to give it a little bit of a clean while the bumper's off. It's not going to look fantastic, it's not going to be perfect, but it is going to make the eyes much better. I have moistened, not wet, moistened this pad. It's not perfect, but for a 10-minute job, it's not overly too bad. Again, I've not used a proper kit. I've just used a lamb's wool bonnet and some T-cut. It's a never-ending issue. It will be a never-ending story. You'll be doing it for the end of your life now. And the only other thing to do is replace these. But for 20-odd years old, they're not too bad. Bumper's back on. It's just hung on. It's not put back into place. I'm going to clean all this now. There's a piece of trim that sits along here. But the lights are in. Bumper's on. And for some reason, I didn't notice when I bought the car, it's been stuck in there. There is a purple cable tie. No idea what that's about, but it's there. So that's day 2 of having a full old go at the TT. We've been doing this since, I don't know, 11 o'clock this morning. It's now What time is it? 6 o'clock? I can't see the clock. So we've had a good old go at it anyway. Things we've done today have been covered in the video. Coolant bottles all been cleaned. Everything's been cleaned and sorted, and there's been some welding going on and some headlight restoring and all sorts of stuff. The bumper is now back on the car, which is good news. We've had some parts arrive, ready to repair that. What are we waiting for? Waiting for a few more parts. Got to get some coolant. It takes a special, it says G12, but that's been superseded now, so it takes G13 coolant. We're getting there. We're slowly getting there. We're in a much better place than we were this morning, and I'm feeling a lot more confident and uplifted than I was at 7 o'clock this morning. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, thumbs up please. If you haven't enjoyed the video, well then don't yeah, if you haven't enjoyed the video, that's Dad's fault. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. There will be more TT updates coming. Whatever you're getting up to, have a great day. Take care and goodbye. Hello, you absolute legends. Welcome back to the channel. It's John here. Dad's having a quick tidy up. What are we, a week and a bit into the Audi TT project? This is a bit of an update. Part 4 of the saga that is my broken Audi TT Mark 1 Coupe. And if you haven't seen the video, well, there's 3 or 4 videos which effectively show you just how broken it is and then what we're going to be doing to fix it. This video, we've started to get some parts arriving, so we're going to take a look at those parts in just a second, and also have a look at what Dad's done with regards to the engine sump, the engine oil sump and the oil pickup pipe. And we'll talk about that in just a second. So if you haven't seen the other videos, watch them first, because it will show you that there has been a problem with a few different bits and pieces, and that we are missing some pipes which were genuinely just totally posh rotten. So what has arrived now? Well, this is a Gravity Performance turbo intake pipe. If you remember, the old intake pipe was absolutely cream crackered. Had a great big split in it. This is the new one against the old one. This is the split in it there, right at the bottom. So this will be replacing that. It looks similar, I suppose. This is for your N75 valve here. This goes to your casing, all that. Oh no, sorry, I beg your pardon. This goes to your diverter valve. This goes to this pipe, whatever that is. And this bit here goes to the hockey puck, which goes here like this, and then there's a hockey puck on the top there. So actually, it doesn't look too different in comparison. So that is the new turbo intake pipe. It's made of silicon. It's from a company called Gravity Performance. It was 80 odd quid, and you can see that it's much more flexible, and hopefully should last a lot longer than this one. So that's the part we have been waiting for to get the turbo system back up and running. That's that piece. We've had this part arrive. This is part of the crankcase breather system, the PCV system. That was a brand new genuine Audi part. It was 25 quid. Had another piece arrive. This again is silicon uprated from DPH Sport Performance. That is 20 odd quid that was, but it's to replace a piece on the PCV system. Got some window wiper arm clips. These aren't for this project, that's for something else, but these are brilliant, so buy some of those. We've got some braided fuel line. Not fuel line, vacuum pipe. Braided vacuum pipe for the pressure regulator. We've got a whole system of T pipes and all sorts. This is to replace knackered bits on the PCV, and a brand new PCV valve. There it is. That's all to go on the PCV system. There's a crankcase breather system there, and something that's a little bit blingy, but something that I thought might be useful. All the clips and the trim holders for the engine bay dressing are all broken. I bought some of these. They're stainless steel, and this is to go on the what's it called? Strut thing. Strut bar. strut brace. That's it. Not with it today. So that's all the parts that have arrived so far for the engine. We've got a brand new air filter. That's a Bosch one. The old one hadn't really been cleaned and used and maintained very well, so that is going on the car, £8. And then this was an absolute bargain. This is FW30 engine oil, fully synthetic, 20 litres, £40. You might think, well, hang on a minute, you don't need 20 litres. Well, I've got quite a lot of the cars in the fleet that take the FW30 fully synthetic oil. Mrs. John Coupland's Fiat, my van, my smart car, so that was an absolute no-brainer. Let's take a look then at what Dad has been doing. I'm going to get him to explain what he's been doing. Hang on, we need a torch. My torch is on the floor. Hang on a minute. Oh. Right.
Have a look at this oil leak.
Tell us about the oil leak.
Yeah, look at this oil leak coming from under there. It's this here blooming solenoid valve here.
Oh yeah.
Can you see it leaking there?
Let's have a look. Let's shine the light on there so we can see that oil leak under there. We can see that.
Can you see the trail where it's been running?
What has caused that?
I don't know, we're going to have to investigate that when we get all this lot put back together.
Why are we investigating when we put it back together and not now?
Well, when we get some more of it on, I'm not taking any more bits off.
So this oil leak that's coming...
You see where it's washing it clean.
I can, yes.
That's why it's blooming wet. We might finish up with this top off.
Top being the head?
No, the rocker cover.
The rocker cover. Yeah, I can see that. That's unusual, isn't it? I wonder what's in that solenoid.
Something to do with the valve timing, I should think.
Oh, right, okay. Well, that's an option then. Good spot. What else have you done?
Took the sump off. That's not as easy as you'd think because there's 4 bolts at the back and they're a bit awkward.
Let's have a look at the sump. Here's the sump. It's been off. You can see it's off. Dad's given it a good old clean out, or is going to give it a good old clean out.
2 bolts there are a bit tricky.
Couple of bolts there and there, Dad says are tricky. The reason we took the sump off, A, we didn't know what the engine oil system was doing, and we hadn't got any service history with the car. There were concerns that there might have been dirt and debris in the sump and in the oil pickup pipe. That's what this is. Let's shine the light through the oil pickup pipe now.
Still got some blockage in it.
There's a little bit of blockage in there. A new one is sort of 15-20 quid, but actually it's not too bad, is it, in there? So that's been cleaned out. That's certainly not giving us an issue, that oil pickup pipe. So the sump is going to go back on. I've got an oil filter on order. We've got a gasket. It's a sealant gasket that's on order, and we will go from there. What are you doing now?
Washing these bolts.
In
It's white spirit.
We're cleaning them bolts off. These are the sump bolts here. We are getting somewhere. There are the parts that we need to be replacing. We're waiting for a few more things, and then it's going to be a case of putting it back together. I'm confident it will feel an absolutely different car when we get it all back together. That's if we put it back together right, I suppose. There's still that concern over the turbo. We shall have to do some soul searching about that. But I genuinely think with all the replacements and bits and pieces that we've done and the TLC that we've given the car, which has clearly been mechanically abused for quite some time, that it will feel much different. Hopefully we get it put back right, and we get it put back in.
Got another one to look at anyway.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. I have got another one of these, same colour but in the convertible version, a 225 BAM 2004 plate. So if we get really stuck, because that is an absolute peach, there's nothing wrong with that. It's beautiful. It's never been tinkered with. It's never wanted for anything. It's a real low miler. It's been loved all its life. If we get really stuck, we can sort of take all the trim bits off and have a look under the engine bay just to see what we are looking at and where things need to go for reference if we get to that point. But I don't think we're going to need to get to that. What's been the most difficult thing so far?
Getting the motivation to come out here and tinker with it for an hour or two.
Yeah, Dad's not been too happy with this TT project, and I don't blame him. It was
decorating to do.
It was a pretty crap day when we were taking all the pipes off and seeing something was broken, and this is broken, and that is broken, and it started with me saying to Dad, I think I've got a coil pack issue, and maybe the brakes need unseizing and looking at, and it's turned into, well, this sort of project. If you've enjoyed the video, like and subscribe please if you haven't already done so. The next update, well, I'm sure, will be we're putting stuff back on the car. Whatever you're getting up to, take care, have a great day. The sun is shining here in Lincolnshire. I'm going to show you it. What time is it? It's 6 o'clock in the evening, and it's beautiful. The sun is shining. I might go and cut my grass. Take care. Goodbye. Hello, you absolute legends. Welcome back to the channel. You join me in Dad's workshop because we have put the majority of the pipes and the new pipe work and bits and pieces that have arrived back on the car. I wasn't able to film that process because I've been away working this week and Dad's been tinkering on the car as we go. So what I want to do is just show you what Dad's done and show you the progress on the TT. New turbo intake pipe has been fitted, and you can see Dad has started putting all the clips and pieces back on. That's not tight yet, so I'll need to tell Dad about that. This is the N75 valve. We've tested that. But apart from that, it starts to look good. I'm actually just checking this PCV system. So this is the crankcase breather valve in here. Let's attach that somewhere, that light here. And I'm testing all the clips all the way down here in the engine bay. You can see where it goes to right down the bottom here. There's that new T-piece. And the PCV valve has been fitted, and it's all under there with the new silicone hoses. I have fitted, or Dad has fitted, I have bought a new diverter valve, which is here. You can remember that whoosh valve, that silly old stupid make a noise valve. We've now taken that off. Here it is. It's gone. Well, it hasn't gone. It's currently on the old turbo intake pipe. Was that hole there as well, or is that new?
No, I cut the holes because I didn't want to break the little valve that was stuck in there, taking it off.
Fair enough. So there was. I wanted to make sure that wasn't a hole we'd missed. So this is the crap that we're getting rid of. And look at all this. This is all the old valves and T-pieces and nonsense that's no good. And these old single-use clips that Dad's cut off and has replaced with circlips. Not circlips. With what are they called? My mind's gone blank.
Jubilee clips.
Jubilee clips.
You've
that's
depleted my entire stock of Jubilee clips.
I owe you some Jubilee clips. There's only a few things left to go back on the car, which I'm hoping we can achieve soon. We've got this, the hockey puck, which we originally thought was the PCV valve. It's not. It's the some sort of pressure valve. We've got this sort of silicon crankcase breather to go back on, and I don't think we're using these pieces. These are pieces that came as part of a kit, and that goes onto the turbo intake valve. Also we've got the coolant to sort out. That needs washing out, as in the system needs flushing. Dad's had the oil system drained. Have you put the oil back in now?
I put some in, yeah. I took the sump off and I cleaned the strainer.
Yes, yeah, which is covered in the previous video. The only clip I can see, mate, that's loose is this one here.
Well, all this looks loose.
All that's loose, right, fair enough. But the PCV system, no, I've double-checked. All the clips appear to be... Yep, appear to be nice.
How all that
nice and tight.
dogs fits.
Yeah, so we're going to be working on the TT in this video, doing a few bits and pieces. Stay tuned. So we're still putting pipes and bits and pieces back on. This crankcase breather's going back on now with the hockey puck. I'll hold the light so Dad can see. It's very tight though, so we might have to give it a bit of a wiggle. Well, we've got some more bits and pieces arrived. Coolant, bits and pieces. Dad's under here. We're currently modifying a air pipe. This one, which you can't see. Well, I'll let you see in a second when Dad's finished with the torch. The new, so this is the hockey puck under here. As you can see, we're putting it on. The crankcase breather pipe that came with the kit has needed some modification. We've chopped a bit off, and we're just fitting that now. And the reason it needed some modification is previously it had this Forge silicon crankcase breather on. These are like 50 quid as well, but it means that your hockey puck is further up on the block. Well, it hasn't worked very well. It's not how it should be, so we're putting it back to how it was. It's struggling a little bit because the pipe to that breather is a bit further down on here, on the old one, and on the new intake pipe it's a bit further up. So it's given us a little bit of grief, but nothing that a tub of petroleum jelly can't solve. So I've modified this crankcase breather pipe. It's sitting nicely in the hockey puck, and we're just doing some Jubilee clips up now to make sure that the whole system is nice and tight, and obviously there's not going to be any pipes popping off. And in between spannering on the car, I've taken 5 minutes with a cup of coffee to appreciate the sunset over Lincolnshire. This is the back garden view. What a beautiful view this evening. And when people ask me, John, why do you commute so far to work and why do you live where you live? Well, this is why. This is the answer. This is right on my back garden doorstep. Beautiful. Come out here, enjoy the sunset. We've got a castle over there in the distance. There it is. There's the castle. Fantastic. So we've got to a point where it's time to put the airbox back on. We're going to put the new air filter in and fit it all down. New airbox, well, not the new airbox, old airbox, but I've cleaned it all out. Dad's looking for some bolts or nuts or screws because there was a bolt missing to hold this box down, so we're going to replace that at the same time. Genuine Bosch air filter, £6. This is what would have been in the car originally, supplied by Audi S714. This is the old one. Down here, looking a bit grubby. This is the new one. One of the worst jobs in the world. Dad tips his nut tray everywhere to find something, and then I have to pick them all up. I've been doing that since I was about 5 years old. Air filter is in. Right, it's time to refit the strut brace, which goes obviously across the struts. I've bought some stainless steel nuts and fasteners just to make it look a little bit nicer. So this is the nut that previously held the strut top washer, strut top mount in place. Let me get that positioned. But I'm replacing it with some bling because shiny things and magpies. Let me just show you. So this is what I'm replacing it with. The stainless steel, sort of chrome finishes. Well, not chrome, you know what I mean, chrome effect. And they are going to make that look beautiful. Dad's under the car. He's taken the old oil filter off. We're going to put the new oil filter on. It's dark. It's nearly 9 o'clock. It's not nearly 9 o'clock, but it's getting dark. I'm going to prime the new oil filter. Oil filter, £6. This is my oil. I'm going to just put a little bit in a jug and prime this. And there's the old one out. Car's on the deck. Oil filter's changed. 4.5 litres of oil in. We've put the dipstick and the dipstick holder all back in. Battery we've just hooked up quick, just to make sure electrically there's no issues. And in a minute, we'll fire up for the first time. Well, we've topped the oil up. We've fixed an issue with the dipstick. It was missing an O-ring. As you can see, it's pitch black outside and it's sort of 9:30. We was going to start the car up tonight, get it going, but there's still a few things that we need to do, including putting the trim back on, testing everything, making sure everything's fixed, and the big one is the coolant system still needs flushing. The plan is tomorrow we're going to wheel the car out, into Dad's driveway, and then using a hose pipe system, fill the coolant bottle, wash it all out, all through the system, and it's got a drain tap at the bottom. Then we're going to fill it up, and then we're going to start it up. That's it for the night. Brief intermission. Next thing will be Saturday morning. Well, it's another morning, beautiful morning in Lincolnshire. So I'm going to go back to Dad's today to hopefully fix the rest of this car. We've got coolant to do, got loads of other bits and pieces to do. I'm going to the Boston Classic Car Show tomorrow. That is a show that I love. I'm taking the Proton, the white one. But first, a cup of coffee and a cup of tea for Mrs. John Coupland. And big shout out to her this morning because, well, I've had all this oil and antifreeze and stuff in the kitchen for about a week now. And it's still here, so that's something I've got to sort out this morning as well. That's it then, quick change, we're back. It's murky and horrible, 1 o'clock in the afternoon on a Saturday here in Lincolnshire. We've got the battery back on. We are now going to flush the coolant system. We're not going to do that in Dad's garage because obviously that's going to cause a big old mess. We're going to do it out here and cause a big old mess instead. Everything else is back on. Yeah, so the way to do it, we're going to fill the coolant system full of water, open the tap, drain it, fill it full of coolant, job's done. So there's a drainage tap under there, we've got the car on the deck, we're just going to fill it up and drain it. You can see the water that's coming out. And as you can see, it's kicking out some sludge, some horrible yellow stuff. That was the yellow stuff that was in the coolant system before in the bottle. We've put clear water in, let it fill, and then drain it, and then we're going to do that a couple of times, and then we're going to top the coolant up. So we've emptied it, filled it, emptied it, filled it a few times now, cleaned the radiator out, cleaned the hoses out, and now we are confident that it's nice and clean, better than it was. Coolant time. So it's time to fill the coolant system back up. We're using this, which is G12 coolant. It's ready to use. It was £15 for 10 litres, which in my opinion is a bargain. It takes this special G12 plus stuff. Dad's white spiriting the engine. We're going to clean the engine block from all the oil as well. There's no exact science to this. It's fill it up slowly. You don't want to get any airlocks in your coolant system. That would be bad news. And sort of work out how much you put in. I've put a litre in. I think I'll probably stop at about 3 or 4 litres and let it settle, put some more in. But obviously you get your min-max marks for a reason. And there it is, there it goes in. Dad's cleaning the engine, he's got white spirit. You can see that he's cleaning all the oil and gunk and gump off there. This is still going in slowly. It is windy in Lincolnshire, and if you watched our previous video, it was very windy in Lincolnshire. Coolant is in. We've put 4 and a bit litres in. Capacity is 5. We're not going to have got the whole lot drained. We're now going to clean this engine block off, clean underneath, clean all the oil off. Going to put the coolant tap back on, not tap, tank cover back on. It's still a little bit grey and murky and horrible in there, but again, we've not taken everything out the car to drain it. Put the tank, expansion tank back on. What's up?
Something nearly happened then.
Ah, right, I see, I understand. Natural bodily functions? Yes. They don't stop in the workshop, you know. Right, it's just about to rain, so we're going to cover this over. This is the engine electrics. There's a bit of oil running off here. This is because we've been washing the underside of the car. But we are nearly on the home stretch. So we're just jet washing all the crap off from underneath. Jet washing all the oil and debris and dirt. That will give us an indication also where the oil leaks are coming from, because if you can remember, underneath the engine bay was so oily. So oily. Coolant system is bled and complete. Coolant level is right. Engine oil is topped up and red complete. We've cleaned all the manifold, cleaned all under here, cleaned the top here, around here. I obviously haven't cleaned the top of here because, well, I'm not going to get all in here with my jet wash. Cleaned all the top of the gearbox, as you can see down there. Just jet washed off all that horrible, nasty everything all down here. So everything has just had a good old clean. I'm going to start now putting trim back on. I've cleaned that piece of trim. Batteries on charge. No fault codes found yet, but we're going to start her up in a minute and clear the fault codes. But first, I think it's going to be cup of tea time. Let's just see how we're getting on, if it's going to be cup of tea time. Hopefully I'll walk in here and there will be a cup of tea waiting. Aha! It is on the way. I was just about to test drive the car and then it chucked it down, so I'm soaking wet. Dan's currently listening to see if he can hear the pump that he fixed. If you remember, in a previous video there was some electrical wires cut. He's using his little pokey stethoscope to hear things cutting in. Right, we're getting ready to start the car. Battery's on. Engine has been checked, as I say. Coolant has been checked. Dad's doing a final walk around and then he's going to turn the key. Fingers crossed. Obviously all the panels and bits and pieces aren't back on, but mechanically it is all back together. Here we go. Ignition's on. Started. First turn of the key. Winner. I suppose the next thing to do is make sure it gets up to temperature, check everything and take it for a test drive. Well, we're back from our test drive. Dad is underneath the car checking everything out. You can see that the back roads of Lincolnshire are filthy, but I'll talk about the test drive in just a moment. What have you found?
Well, have a look under there, mate.
Is it filthy? Oh dear. What are we looking at? I can't see what I'm looking at.
You can't see anything, do you?
I can't see a thing.
You can't see any oil, can you?
I can't see any oil. So we haven't found any oil leaks, is what you're saying?
Yeah,
Excellent news.
I bet it was pressurised in the crankcase. It's not pouring oil out, is it?
Nope.
It was doing before.
And that is what, obviously, the PCV system is. Pressure control system. Right, I've got to be honest then. We've taken it for a spin. We've driven around the Lincolnshire back roads. Haven't driven it very far or very fast. It drives like a totally different car. It drives like a totally different machine. It sounds different. The engine note is different. The turbo bearing noise that I thought it was, the little as I can describe it, has gone. It's still a car that's driven 140,000 miles. There's still a whine and a whiz from the turbo, but goodness me, it is a totally different animal. You put your foot slightly on the accelerator and you are gone. It wants to go. It is how the Audi TT Mark 1 should be. I'm quietly confident, famous last words I know, that we fixed the problem with the engine, as in the power, the performance, things that certainly will be helping. Well, there's no massive blooming air leaks in it. The turbo intake pipe, the air pipe from the air filter, clearly was all knackered. and was leaking air. That is probably the whoosh and the whir that I was hearing when putting my foot on the accelerator when driving the turbo. We've removed that dump valve, we've removed the whoosh valve, and we fitted a genuine diverter valve. It has made a world of difference. The car sounds so much quieter, and it does not seem to be stalling. There's no acceleration lag. So far, so good. We're going to put all the trim pieces back on. We've got some bling trim to put on, like these stainless steel bits and pieces, and then go from there. Whether or not Dad's going to look at the braking system, which we thought initially was the problem, that might be at a later date. But with regards to the car, the running, the acceleration, and the dramas, it seems to have fixed the problem. That turbo running nicely, no noise, no knocks, no bangs, and it really is running lovely. It's taken Dad mainly a week on and off of tinkering and of parts arriving to get the car to this position. As ever, massively grateful to Dad, because I certainly couldn't have done this myself. And Dad has been the driving force behind getting it put back together, as you know, on the channel. A few bits left to do: trim, and then give it a blooming good clean. But it's a happy ending at this stage for the TT, in that, well, it's fixed. And whilst I'm here, perks of being at Mum and Dad's, homegrown produce. What's she giving me? We've got some new potatoes, tomatoes, which I've been munching on all afternoon, beans, and some raspberries. Perks of coming to Mum and Dad's. So we're just fitting the trim pieces back to the car, and because I've got this stainless steel upgrade kit, we're having to put these sort of hex adapters in here. They just sort of self-tap in. There's one stuck over there, and that is when we can put the stainless steel screws and bits and pieces in there. So it's a little modification we have to do, but they just screw in to this plastic panel, and that's what these look like when they're in. Just little stainless steel hex bolts with a little stainless steel washer cup. And you can see that the engine bay is slowly coming back together.
I want to hear it going.
It's not going to do that.
That's what they do at the shows.
That's it. Trim's back on. Winner, winner. Under tray is going back on. Nice and clean. Great times. The horrible aftermarket blow-off valve, dump valve thing is where it belongs. If you've enjoyed the series, let me know. Hopefully there won't be another series of the TT is totally knackered. I'm sure there'll be other things that we fix and find along the way. For example, the air conditioning needs a regas. We'll have a look at that. The interior seat belts don't retract properly. Lots of different things. Micro switches on the boot lid, micro switch in the doors, but mechanically it's had a good going over, and Dad is happy. Are you happy with?
I'm happy it's not chucking oil out all over there.
Yeah, because as I say, it was chucking oil everywhere, and that is probably because it was pressurising the system.
Yeah, pressurising the crankcase, I'll bet.
And chucking oil everywhere. If you've enjoyed the video series, please give us a like, a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already done so, and if you haven't followed me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, the whole shebang, then please do. Whatever you're getting up to, have a great day, take care, thanks for watching, and I'm going to drive my TT. Hello you absolute legends, welcome back to the channel. John here with quite a dirty Audi TT. If you followed the videos on the channel, you will know that it's been very poorly recently. We've just wheeled it out the garage, got it down the back of the drive. Dad's done all the work on it, and this is genuinely the first test drive that I have done in this car. Come along with me then and we will test drive the car together. I've got this with me. This is my brand new piece of kit. It's my DJI Osmo Mobile 6, so hopefully we should get some good video.
Okay. So you get to see me fold myself into the car. I can only apologise about the tum. That's a work in progress. And you'll see from my driving position, and actually the fact that I've got my camera set up at super wide, that this angle is not a good angle. Just gone 7:45. And this genuinely is the first time of me taking the car for a test drive. I will turn the aircon off so that's not blowing on us. Sounding good so far. Revving as she should. And I've had to ditch the gimbal actually. And as you'll see in an outtake at the end of this video, the gimbal just goes boing, boing, boing. So I've stuck you to the passenger window. Right, let's go. I'm going to start off on the back roads and then I will take it onto the main road and see just how good this car really is now we've fixed all these issues. New turbo intake pipe, new PCV valve, new PCV valve system. I'm expecting improved throttle, stability. I've got rid of that whoosh valve so it shouldn't make a stupid noise. And I'm driving sensibly. I'm obviously in a 30-mile-an-hour zone and I don't want to rag the arse off it. Already it sounds quieter. Already it sounds less throaty. Already it sounds smoother. I'm on a wiggly easy for you to say, wiggly bendy back road. Let's open her up. Oh my goodness. It feels fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. There were some kids there trying to hitchhike a ride, I think. Do they not know it's a 4-seater, but a 2-seater? I'm going through my village. I've obviously got to stick to the speed limit. But there's no rattle from the turbo. There's no whine from the turbo. That turbo that I was hearing, which I thought was a turbo bearing or the turbo hitting the casing, was actually, idiot by the way, was actually air. Air escaping, an air leak. And again, I'm on the windy old back roads of Lincolnshire, so I'm not going to open this up right now. Whilst going through the village, I'm going to wait till I get onto the side roads and the main road to test its full potential, to test its full capacity, shall we speak. Already the throttle response is so much better. There's no lag, there's no turbo lag, there's no nothing. There's a few rattles and knocks and bits and pieces, but it's a 23-year-old car. And actually the main rattle that you'll probably hear in this video is the parcel shelf. That's the church that Mrs. John Coupland and I got married in last year. Hello! That's our local village church. That means we're getting out now into the countryside, and oh my god! Oh my goodness, it pulls as it should. That 225 BAM engine whirring away. That turbo, oh, just making such a little whine. The handling, the stability, oh, it grips so well around these corners. I know these roads like the back of my hand. I grew up round here. I've spent 20 years driving these roads, these back roads of Lincolnshire. Holy moly! Dad's done it. He's fixed the car. He's fixed all the problems. And would you believe that something so simple as split pipes would cause such an issue? I'm sweating. Just how hot it is in here. It genuinely is warm. But actually, at the excitement of the fact that this car, it drives like no other. Here we go. I wish you could hear it. I wish you could feel it. I'm at 60. I'm on my back road, but it is a 60-mile-an-hour limit. Goodness me. Goodness me. For an engine that's done 140,000 miles in its life, that is responding beautifully. So well. I'm gonna have to turn the aircon on because I am roasting. I'm gonna take it onto the main road, which is a 60-mile-an-hour limit. The same as these roads. This is a 30, but oh, that pub looks good. We'll take it onto the main road, just so we're not going doing, 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 doing on the back roads and rattling and knocking and banging. But what a car now this is. It is literally night and day. You hear it all the time. Oh, I've improved this. Night and day. Goodness me. We're coming out of the 30 into the 60. I'm in 5th gear before there would have been such a lag. In fact, it would have probably misfired from 5th into 6th, from 30 to 60. Not ideal, I know. Unbelievable. 250 quid it's probably cost me to get it to this stage. When I say this stage, I mean repaired. Let's go down this road here. We're going to go down the river bank, Oak House Lane. Listen to that. We've got an original OEM diverter valve on there now. What a beautiful night in Lincolnshire to be driving my TT. It really is beautiful. I very nearly hit a pigeon just then. Didn't see what was coming. I'm going to turn around. Am I going to turn around? Nah, let's not turn around. Let's do a standing start. Ready? Oh my goodness! Redlining all the way. And we're at 60. 60 in about 4 seconds, 5 seconds, 6 seconds. I didn't count it. 60 miles an hour. Just like that. What a car. Now I understand just why this car is going to be so iconic, is so iconic, and actually hope you now understand why I've thrown my money into this pit. I hope you can understand now. Look at that beautiful sunset over Lincolnshire. Fantastic. The last thing I want to do is literally rag this to death, but I hope you can hear that turbo. I hope you can hear that engine, that 20 valve 1.8 turbocharged engine. singing, and I'm at 60. There I am. This is going to be a fantastic little commuter car. It really is. It's going to eat up the motorway miles, and I am so pleased. Can you tell? So pleased with the transformation that Dad has given this car. Wow. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. As a test drive, as it is a test drive, I'm going to get it up to speed. We're at 30 miles an hour, we're in the 30 zone, and I'm going to heavy brake. The brakes aren't as good as I'd like, if I'm honest. I am going to have to do some investigation into the brakes. Someone's actually put new brake pads on old worn discs. Coming out of the 40 onto the main road, the A52 if you want to know, to Skegness. However, there's a 40 mile an hour average speed camera here, so the last thing I want to do is give the government £100 and break the law, because that would be a bad idea. We're on the main road, the A52. I'm in third, foot down, and I'm at 60. Driving like it should. And interestingly, when it says I'm getting 18 miles to the gallon, that's because I'm driving it like a Wally. But the live miles per gallon feed is telling me I'm getting 28, 29. It'll be quite interesting to see just actually how much I am getting to the gallon. Because before I was getting 28, but actually I thought this is drinking petrol. Absolutely drinking petrol. There you have it then. The test drive, the first one of the TT Mark 1. My camera actually cut out halfway on the way home, so I didn't capture the whole of the test drive, but you've got the gist, right? It's a beautiful evening, by the way. Oh, where are you all gone? Where are you going? This way. It's a beautiful evening, by the way. Yeah, night and day, right? Absolutely night and day. And you can see the car is filthy, but needs a good old scrub. But performance wise, oh my goodness, what a machine. If you've enjoyed the video, thumbs up please. If you haven't already subscribed, please do. The filming didn't quite go as well as I wanted it to, but I think you can see just from the footage that I did manage to get, the car works fine. It's driving lovely. It'll be interesting to see what my fuel efficiency is in the future. I'm going to give it a scrub now, just to make it sure it's nice and clean. If you've enjoyed the video, thumbs up please, as I say. Subscribe, like. What do you reckon I should do with it now? Sell it or enjoy it? I think it's going to be an awesome commuter vehicle. And I'm not going to drive it like a Wally. I'm not going to rag the arse off it. But I am going to drive it like it's meant to be driven. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care. Thanks for all your support, genuinely. Goodbye.
Hello, you absolute legends. Welcome back to the channel. It's John here on a beautiful sunshiny day here in Lincolnshire. It really is an absolutely beautiful day as well. I'm at Formula 1 Auto Centres. Reason being, the Audi TT is in for an aircon regas. In fact, it's just there. You can see it. And it's one of those, I'm taking a punt on it side of things. The car is now repaired, and I am hoping that the air conditioning not working and not being as cool as it should be is the fact that there's not much gas in there, and it's a case of it needs topping up as opposed to there's a leak. Dad did find a slight oil leak from the compressor when he was doing his testing recently. However, it kicks in there's no major issues with the blowers. It doesn't blow out hot, it blows out mediocre amounts of cold. So fingers crossed, it could be that it's just low on gas. I've seen Russ here, he is charging me a good price. I normally go to our local ATS, but their machine is broken, so the Formula 1 Auto Centres team are getting my cash instead. In this video then, we will watch the regassing process, we'll have a chat about it, and see just if it does the trick, or if I've thrown £55 away for no reason.
So the first thing the engineer had to do was connect up two pipes, one to the high pressure valve and one to the low pressure valve. There's two of these, one at the top where he's put in the red one, and one at the bottom near the turbo charge pipe there as well. And I went outside while he was doing that to have a look at the beautiful sunshine, and oh my goodness, there it is. There is the TT in all its resplendent glory, shining in the sunshine, because I had just given it a wash this afternoon as well. Beautiful day to be out and about in the sunshine. There's the interior, as you can see. I've given that a good clean as well. And the first thing this machine is going to do is try and recover previous gas that was in the system. It's recovered so far 100 grams of refrigerant. It tries to take all of it out before adding how much is in there to find out how good the system is. I'm not an air conditioning expert, I won't lie. This is the sheet, 650 grams we needed putting in. There's me pointing that out, of R134A refrigerant, air conditioning refrigerant. 291 grams it recovered then from the system. That's how much was left in there, where it says 284. I don't know where it lost a little bit, but should have been 650, 200 and something. Now that's a good sign in my opinion, because that tells me that there's some left in the system. It hasn't lost all the refrigerant, lost all the gas in it. So it did have some, it was just low, and fingers crossed when we top it up it won't leak everywhere out there. Does a pressure test then, which takes about 25 minutes, and while it was doing the pressure test I went and sat and looked at the car from afar.
Well, as you've just seen, the vacuum testing is going on. It's going okay. It's recovered sort of 280 grams of fluid, gas stuff, aircon stuff, which tells me that it wasn't empty, which is good news. I would have despaired if I'd seen 0 grams in there, or 1 or 2. One thing I did notice was there wasn't much oil in the system. 1 gram. I was expecting there to be a little bit more than that in there. So it's recovered 280 grams of the gas refrigerant, and the system takes 650. In fact, I've seen a lad in there that I used to go to school with, Tom. So big shout out to Tom. He drives a K11 Nissan Micra. What a legend. So we shall see. They're going to regas the car up to 650. It's doing its compression test, vacuum test at the moment, and see if that solves the problem.
Vacuum test all complete. It is time for it to put the refrigerant in the system. 544 grams putting in. It's going to be putting it right up to 650. Here's me sat in the waiting room, nervous. Is it going to work? And of course it did. A chilly 8.8 Celsius registered in the car afterwards using that probe. And everything's off the system. All done and dusted. Time to get the car started up and give it a good test.
And just like that, thanks to the team at F1 Auto Centres, I am back on the road, and actually quite chilly. It's quite cold here in the TT now. It's reading a lovely 8 degrees on my thermometer, as you just saw. Yeah, the air conditioning gas has been done. Job done, and so far so good. Now the team there do offer a warranty on their work, so if it does start kicking out all the gas and stuff like that, or there is a leak, they will refund it, which is good. They're that confident in their tech. Yeah, so far so good. And I don't think it was a case of it was broken. I think it's just been neglected like the rest of the car the past, how long are we talking? We don't know, do we? Cosmetically, as we know, the car has been looked after. Mechanically, terrible. The fact that I've had to replace all the PCV system, etc, etc. If you've enjoyed the video, drop us a thumbs up, please. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. Until next time, have a great day, whatever you're getting up to. Take care. That was a bit bumpy, wasn't it? Take care. Goodbye.
Hello, you absolute legends. Welcome back to the channel. It's John here, and I've got 3 words for you. Massive coolant leak. Yeah. I am in the TT Mark 1. Remember, if you haven't seen the videos on the channel already, Dad and I spent a good couple of weeks getting it all back up and running, and now I have got a massive coolant leak. In this video then, we're going to try and diagnose the issue, fix the issue, and see what on earth is going on. So I've just rolled the car into the garage. Let's shut that. We are in Dad's workshop. This TT, bless it, has spent quite a particular amount of time in this workshop recently, due to the fact that, well, we had to do quite a bit of work. First things first, before we even start looking at the potential coolant issue, the car has been off the road for 2 or 3 weeks, and the battery is no good. So I am going to put the battery on the charge. That is the first plan of action. Get that battery on charge, and then we can start to try and diagnose what the coolant issue is. As you can see, and there will be 0 coolant in here. Just let the air out of there. Nada. Nothing. Empty. Gone. I know roughly where it's leaking from, the front of the car, where it's coming from on the drip tray, but the system, well, I've got absolutely no idea where it's coming from. Anyway, let's get the car on charge. That can be doing that whilst we try and identify the issue. Battery charger is here. It's from 1927, as you can see, but it does the job. 12-volt battery. What we've got 4 at the moment. It's going to just charge that battery up while we're working. Dad's here with the Audi TT. How are you feeling about having the Audi TT back in the workshop?
I thought it was a silver one.
What do you mean you thought it was a silver one?
I thought it was a silver one, you know, to be fair.
No, I've sold the silver one.
Oh, yeah.
You can't keep track of them all.
No.
Too many.
Yeah, I can't keep track of it.
Here it is. Right, get plan of action, I suppose. We're going to take these covers off. We're going to try and find, as Dad described it, the epicenter as to where the coolant is coming from. It's quite a major leak. I'm hoping there will be some sort of evidence of where it's coming from. So first port of call is getting these trims off. They're coming off. Dad's taking this one off. I'm taking these ones off. This is the coolant housing. You can see down here. We're going to obviously start probably down here. Maybe it's just not sat properly on there. And then trace the system all the way through. There's a radiator and an intercooler all down here under this piece. So it could be on there. These are the stainless steel nuts and bolts that we're taking off. But at the moment we're just getting to a position where we can see what we're doing. Okay, so battery covers off, all this covers off, all the plastic covers are now off the car. And an initial inspection and chasing it back from sort of the coolant bottle all the way down the radiator pipes, we were hoping to be able to see where the leak was actually coming from. And, well, we've discovered this. I don't know if you can see that, but there is quite a catastrophic leak coming down here and down here, which we're just trying to work our way towards now. But there is coolant all over, all that down there, sort of sitting on top of the housing there. It could be this pipe, it could be the thermostat down here, the pipe. So yeah, we are working towards getting to see that. I don't know if you can see it down there, but that, we think, is the epicenter, shall we say. We've just now got to find out just where it's coming from. And so to get to that area, we are taking the airbox out. And you can see here is the source of the problem. Right here sort of gone squishy and horrible, and it's probably just rotted. If you remember, on the previous video, there was oil everywhere, like all over the engine bay, because of the split pipes and stuff like that, and it's just probably just perished, that pipe. We'll take it off, we'll have a look. We've got coolant everywhere, but it is just pissing out the system there.
Technical term.
But yeah, not great. That, look at that, beautiful. So you can see that the end of that hose is rotten. It's all turned to sludge, a bit like the PCV system that we have just replaced. That is a water hose, and we didn't go in and replace any water hoses because, well, at the time we didn't know there was any water hose issues. Clearly us being in there and disturbing things when we've built the PCV system back up has exasperated that problem. What are we going to do? Well, we could probably replace it with a brand new water hose. But it's just on the end of that hose. I'm thinking, potentially, as a temporary fix, we could chop the end of that hose off. As long as there's no splits or cuts in the hose, which obviously I don't think there is. That is a potential quick fix until we order a genuine hose or a silicone hose to replace that one. Well, we may be lucky, we may be not. We've trimmed the end of that pipe, put it back on. It's a double pipe, it's like a joined pipe that goes to the oil cooler. The water is all over the gearbox here, but I've just sprayed that off, that's what I'm doing now. Could be that this T connector here, this plastic connector here is faulty. Could just be that since we've fixed the car and it's now working fine, that it's because I'm driving it hard, I am driving it hard, it's just dislodged a previous issue to there. We're going to hang the airbox back on and fill it full of coolant and see if it's done the trick. This is the piece of the pipe that we've cut off. I don't know if you can see it there. Can you see it there? There it is. Turned all to mush at the top here. It's sticky and bleh. Look, it's all just falling apart in my hands. So hopefully the bit we've cut off hasn't modified the car in any way. You know, we've lost 2 centimetres of the pipe. Hopefully that has fixed the problem. These TTs take a specific coolant. This is a G12 Plus coolant, which is quite cheap. I think we got 10 ready-made litres for 10 quid. Just going to top it up and see how we get on. Hopefully it doesn't start chucking water everywhere. Coolant's topped up. Battery adapter's on. Go on then, fire her up. Well, at least it starts. That's the main thing. Well, so far so good. We've got the car running, as you can hear, and we're just going to let it get to pressure. But where we've reattached it to the block and to that pipe, it doesn't seem to be leaking. We've cleaned it all off with a rag, so if it does leak, we will know. Saying that, it could be leaking when the car is cold, which is when I've noticed it leaking out. But at the moment, fingers crossed, we are so far so good. Well, best laid plans of mice and men and all that. Can you see that dripping? I'm sure you can. So we've located a problem further up. I'm sure that pipe wasn't helping, the fact that it was damaged, but the elbow that it connects into is actually cracked, and if I can show you, I will. So what you're looking at is the mirror underneath that elbow that Dad's got in place, and you can see the water dripping off it. There is a big crack in that plastic elbow. So it's not going to be a 2-minute fix. Right, so what's the problem? What we've got to do? We've identified that it is the coolant flange down here that's leaking. We've done a lot of flange work this week.
Yeah, no, but flange work.
No, flange work all week.
The word flange.
So Dad's going to whip the flange off. Is it something you think you can repair?
No.
No, so we're going to rip it off to get the part number off it so we can order a new one. It's going to be, what, I don't know, 25 quid, hopefully, for one. We shall soon find out when we get the part number. The good news is it is chucking water everywhere in the process of removing this. It was always going to be. Out of there, we've obviously just filled it back up. So now I've got to order some more G12. That's the least of my worries right now. Well, here it is. This is the thing that's causing all the problem. It's like a coolant elbow flange. We've taken it off to get the part number off. So there's 2 cracks in there. Tell me more. I can't see the cracks.
The moulding lines, it's cracked, isn't there?
Let's have a look.
Where it's been made.
It's very hot. So it's leaking from there.
All along that line.
All along there. Which, yeah, you can feel it with your thumbnail. Is that something we can plastic weld?
Nope, a new one.
New one incoming. Let's see how much one of them is. So I've just ordered one from eBay, Febby Bilstein at one. It's 12 quids from a supplier. It's going to get here sort of in a day or two. Could have bought one from China for £6.85, but waiting for it is probably going to be 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah, so that is a lot cheaper than I expected. There's clearly a problem with these because there's quite a few people selling them, and it does say on the internet that replacing this does fix the very common gearbox and coolant leak, which is clearly a problem. Genuine one from Audi, I did check, £45. This is, what is this?
It's a temperature transmitter.
There you go, temperature transmitter. That you don't get with. I'm going to have to replace that, but it's come out okay. Now what do we do? Well, we've got to wait now. The TT is stuck in Dad's workshop again for another few days. I am going to buy one of these pipes, the one that we trimmed, because why wouldn't we while we're there? That's probably going to cost about 20, 25 quid.
The road.
Dad's not overly impressed that the TT is stuck in his workshop again for 3 or 4 days. I won't lie, neither am I, because I want to be using the car. I was enjoying driving it until I developed this massive coolant leak. And obviously it's been sat for a couple of weeks. The good news is it gives us an opportunity to charge the battery. So at least we know the problem. That is part 1 then of the massive coolant leak. I think part 2 will be fitting it and putting it back together. Not as easy as we'd hoped, but it's so far cost me, I don't know, 30 quid. And then we've got some coolant on the way. If you've enjoyed the video, thumbs up please. If you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel. It's going to be busy, I think, with this TT on the channel. Have a great day, whatever you're getting up to. Take care. Thanks for watching. Goodbye. Hello, you absolute legends. Talking of absolute legends, here's one. It's Dad. Welcome back to the channel. John here on a windy, horrible, stormy day here in Lincolnshire. Storm Kieran has battered us overnight. But in this video, let's talk flange. Yeah, let's talk flange. We are fitting a new flange to the Audi TT. This is the old one. It is cracked. We had a massive coolant leak on the car. And if you haven't seen that video, it's up there in the top corner right now, because I suggest you watch that first and foremost to see what the issue was. This is the old flange. It was the genuine Audi part from 2003, and it was leaking from a crack in the moulding here. You can just about see it. And here is the new one, which Dad has started to reassemble. There's an O-ring in here, and there's a temperature. What is this thing?
It's a temperature transmitter.
Temperature transmitter, that's it. That he's put back into place here. Fingers crossed. I don't want to say it, but fingers crossed this is going to be a relatively easy fix. This is the replacement part. It's a Febby Bilstein part. Part number 29886 if you need one for yourself. This cost me 12 quid. and it came relatively quick. Bought it off eBay. It came in a couple of days. So in theory, replacing it is 2 hex bolts here and here onto the block, and then just attaching all of the pipework back onto the car, putting all the plastics and airbox back in, and re-putting the coolant back in. So these funny little Audi TTs use specific coolant. It's called G12 Plus nowadays because they've actually superseded the G12. They then went to G13, and then G13 was superseded with 12 Plus. I don't understand it, I don't know, but that is the coolant. It's pre-mixed, so we're going to have to put that back in here. Right, let's just show you the situation. Here's a light. We can see where we've got to attach it back to on the block. This is where it goes to here. It bolts on here and here. Dad's just scratched that up. No, cleaned it up. You know what I mean. Not scratched it up, but cleaned it up with something to just, I suppose, make sure there's no dust or dirt or rust that's going to stop that from sitting flush against the block. And then it's going to be a case of putting the pipes back on. Let's get it done. So Dad's located the hex bolts on the block, and now it's a case of just tightening them up, not doing them too tight until we've got everything connected, because the last thing we want is for there not to be any manoeuvrability. The flanges on the car, Dad is refitting the hoses. I wanted to show you this, which is a spring clip compression tool. It is effectively an easy way for fitting spring clips and removing spring clips instead of using a pair of pliers. It clips onto the clip, and then using a pull wire technique, it applies even pressure to the clip and pulls it off. Thought you'd be interested in that. 2 of the pipes are on, the one on the left hand side, the larger one, and the one on the right. We've got the one on the bottom to refit, which is, if you remember from the last video, is one that had deteriorated quite a bit, and so it doesn't have a spring clip, it has a Jubilee clip on. Best practice is they should have spring clips. That is to apply even pressure, and is because you're fitting obviously a pipe against a plastic part. And the next thing to be doing will be fitting that plug back in onto the temperature sender, and then tighten it all up, fill the system up, and go from there. That's it then. All the pipes are on. We've used the spring clips on the first 2, and I had to use a Jubilee clip on the last one due to the fact that it's not got the original end on it, and it was an absolute devil to get back on there and fit, so we've popped a Jubilee clip on there just in case. Dad's tightening the hex nuts up onto what are they? Allen keys? Well, hex nuts, right? Hex nut, Allen key, same thing. Oh, I'm going to get loads of people shouting at me now in the comments. And then it is a case of filling up the coolant system, making sure the levels are right, and putting all the trim back on.
In Lincolnshire we call them boats.
Boats? Why do you call them boats in Lincolnshire?
That's what they are, the boats.
I don't know where that's come from.
The boats. Put the boats in.
Put the boats in. Fair enough. That should, in theory, have solved the problem. We will soon find out. It will be a case of getting it under pressure, getting it warm, getting the coolant in, and seeing if there's any leaks. No doubt, like anything Audi TT related, we're going to have fixed that, and it's going to have moved the problem somewhere else. But touch wood for now, will stop the coolant from leaking all over the floor. And it was a massive leak. If you haven't seen the previous video, I do suggest you watch that, because you will see just how much coolant was being lost. What are you chuntering on about?
Feel free to visit Lincolnshire.
It's a good place to be, Lincolnshire. It's my favourite place.
Get to go home again.
You can't say that. Come and visit, but don't stay, is what Dad's saying. Let's have a look, because it's cleared up a bit now out there. Yeah, it's getting all right. It's all right for November. And there's the TT. Right, let's get that all done and dusted. Get it fired up.
We never had Audis round here in my day.
and go from there. We've not put it all back together, we've just put the air box scoop back onto the turbo intake pipe so we can have the airflow meter on, just to spin the car up, just to make sure that it's working properly. And just while we're testing it, would be a ridiculous thing to do, to put it all back together and then find that there's an issue. So that's back on, we'll give it a test. Time to put some coolant in, we're going to fill it up. It will need some more, it will go down as it goes through the system because, well, it all went on the floor when we emptied it. Coolant's topped up. We will probably need to top it up again once we've fired it up in bits and pieces. But let's spin her over, let's fire her up and make sure there's no massive leaks. First thing to do is to make sure we've not got a coolant warning light. No, we haven't. That's good news, isn't it? It's telling me the door's open, because it is. Oh, no. The car won't start. The battery isn't great. Well, it wasn't that bad, but it's been sat for a couple of weeks. Oh, Dad's had the battery on charge. How long you had the battery on charge?
A couple of days.
Oh dear, so the battery is really no good. You need to give the car a good old repair of a new battery. It does need a new battery. Ignition is off. Jumper off, Dad. There we go, we're going to get that on there. We do need a new battery, which is a shame, because they're about 100 quid. Right, here we go, ready? There she goes. Jump packs off. So we're going to take the engine up to pressure, get her warm, make sure that everything's reading right, make sure there's no leaks, and put it back together. Pressure's on, pressure's up, no leaks so far. We've got the car up to temperature. There is a little chitter from the exhaust manifold somewhere, but I'm not worried about that right now. Dad's going to check the flange, see if there's any leaks from where it was, if you remember. Looks good so far. Time will tell. All tested, no leaks. That's a good thing. Now to put it back together. Airbox in, air filter, of course, the cover, battery cover, engine cover, and then I suppose that's it. Airbox is back on. I'm just screwing it back into place. This Jubilee clip is all nice and tight. The airflow meter is back on. Engine covers to go on. Battery cover to go on. Then we're done. And that's it. It's back together. Flange is in. Coolant is looking good. The temperature sensor is back on there. This is all back together. All the engine stuff is back on. We do need a new battery. That is the next job. But I'm going to let it cool down a little bit, check the coolant levels, and just hope that has solved the problem. Thanks to Dad, as ever, for his work on the TT. He's going to be sick to death of this by the time we get it finished. Yeah, Dad's a fan of the MR2. I'm a fan of this. We shall see. MR2's for sale, by the way, if you're watching this, November 2023. It's on Car and Classic at the moment. Check it out if you fancy it. If you've enjoyed the video, thumbs up please. What could go wrong next? Who knows? There's things we do need to do. We need to look at the back brakes. Need to look at the hubs on the back as well, but that is a job not for now, potentially in the new year. Have a great day, whatever you're getting up to. Take care. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already done so. I'm sure there'll be plenty more TT content on the way. Take care. Bye-bye.